just share the YouTube link on the group also.
I'll do that once I am done with the introduction part, sir.
Fair
Yeah.
I got a message also.
I think, sir, YouTube we should share after, around 100 people or so to join.
Yes, we'll do that later. So the waiting room is not yet disabled. I'll do that.
Now, what disable kar sakte hain?
I have attended participants.
Sure. So I welcome everyone here on behalf of CGPI for this wonderful topic that we have today, the need of the hour, unlocking the mysteries of GSTR 9 and 9C. Reconciliation or litigations is a big question. Before I proceed with my welcome address, I would want everyone to please note a few things. Please keep your microphones on mute to avoid background noise during the session. To ensure smooth bandwidth, keep your video turned off unless instructed otherwise. Post your questions in the chat box. We'll address them during the Q&A session at the end. This session may be recorded for future reference. If you do not wish to be recorded, kindly refrain from turning on your video or speaking. And we are live on YouTube as well. If you face any technical issues, inform us via the chat box. Stick to the scheduled timings, and we'll aim to cover all the points as planned. Kindly maintain professional and respectful communication throughout the session. So it's great to have all of you here for today's session on unlocking the mysteries of 9 and 9C. It's been more than 7 years of GST. Most of us might have filled more than hundreds of 9/9C in these last 7 years. Yet today, 15 days before the due date, we are here today with this large number of participants because these annual returns often leave us scratching our heads, whether it's about reconciling numbers or worrying about potential notices. To make things simpler and clearer, we have two fantastic speakers today with us. CA Chaitanya Vakharia from Pune, who is brilliant at compliance and reconciliations. He will guide us on how to ensure accuracy in 9 and 9C. And all the way from Kolkata, we have CA Arup Das Gupta, known for his expertise in litigation, who will share insights on how to avoid mistakes that could lead to disputes. So let me ask you, how many of us feel like preparing 9 and 9C is like walking on a tight rope? One misstep here and there, and we are dealing with notices or audits. So that's exactly what we are here to address today. I think this session promises to be packed with practical knowledge and useful tips. So let's sit back, take notes, and get ready to decode the mysteries of these forms. Before I ask Khushi to formally introduce our today's speaker, I have a couple of announcements about the upcoming events of CGPI. In the month of Jan and Feb next year, we have 8 sessions of the Art and Craft Litigation series. The flyers have already been circulated amongst the members. So whether you are experienced in litigation or just starting your litigation journey, this series aims to provide actionable insights to elevate your litigation skills. Each session is designed to combine the art of persuasion with the craft of legal precision, equipping you to succeed in any legal setting. After we conclude this art and craft series, in the month of March 7th, 8th, and 9th of March, we have our much awaited third RRC at Indore. We urge all of whom who are present here to enroll for our RRC soon, which is the only physical event of CGPI and which is the only time we get to meet the members personally and strengthen our professional and personal bonds with each of you. Now, I request Khushi to please formally introduce the two wonderful speakers for today.
Very good evening, everyone. I would like to introduce our speakers for today's session. So we have with us today Advocate C. Arup Das Gupta, sir. He is a FCA, LLB, ACS, and CISA, ISACA, US, and with more than 2 decades of experience and based out of City of Joy, Kolkata. He has hands-on experience in providing opinion and advisory services on indirect tax and company law matters to some of leading corporates and MNCs with presence across India, and also from all core sectors, carrying out strategic review of business processes to evaluate the tax implications, undertaking litigation services, and appears before the government authorities tribunals, and high courts. After almost 2 decades of practice as a CA, in 2023, he has started his legal practice as an advocate in the city of Kolkata and is appearing on matters of indirect taxation and cyber law before different authorities and also the tribunal and high courts. Sir has published articles in journals of various reputed professional organizations and leading online websites and has an article with more than 2 million views. He has trained students, professionals, senior government officers, professional bodies, and trade bodies on GST and other IDT related topics across multiple states in India. Sir is passionate about providing solutions to issues faced by trade bodies and has been a partner in it since inception of GST, because of which he had the opportunity to represent before the Honorable Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman Ma'am, Revenue Secretary, CBIC Chairman and members, CEO GSTN and other key stakeholders. Next, we have CA Chaitanya Vakharia sir with us. He is a practicing chartered accountant since August 2017. He is the partner at Vakharia and Sancheti Chartered Accountants and heads the GST department of the firm. He has completed his articleship from Kirtanle and Pandit LLP Chartered Accountants and was also associated with them as a consultant for GST implementation in manufacturing sector, FMCG sector, and works conduct. He has co-authored the book on practical FAQs under GST, published by the Institute of Chartered Accountants of India. He has been a regular speaker at the Pune branch of WIRC of ICI, various study circles of ICI, and GST associations. He was associated with the Nilaya Institute of Commerce as a visiting faculty for GST. He was the convener of the Pune Camp CPE Study Circle for the year 2021 and 21-22. He was the vice chairman of Vikasa's Pune chapter during 2012-13. Sir is also a theatre artist by passion and won the Best Student Award at Prashant Damle's Fan Foundation T School. He is a fitness enthusiast. Sir, I welcome you both.
Chaitanya sir and Arup sir, with this brief introduction, we request the two of you to please proceed with your session and enlighten us today.
We are on mute.
Arugda, you are
Arup
not.
sir, we're not able to hear. Arup sir, you're on mute yet.
Yes. Am I audible now?
Yes.
Yes, you're now
Yeah,
audible.
thank you. So I was just saying that we have started with Khushi, So iska hi khushi bahut zyada hai that Khushi has introduced us. So now so thank you Khushi for the wonderful introduction, and thanks to CGPI for this wonderful opportunity to share our thoughts and insights on 9 and 9C. So over to Chaitanya.
Yes. Thank you once again to Team CGPI for giving us opportunity. And what a wonderful opportunity being along with Arup sir. So thank you once again. I'll just quickly share the presentation. Yes. Is the presentation visible?
Not yet.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes,
now
yes.
Yes. So, as the topic suggests, and brilliantly coined by Arup sir himself, gateway to reconciliation or litigation. So, the purpose of 9 and 9C is to file whatever has been missed out or reconcile your books along with the financial statements. But now, after the amendment wherein the table 8A is as per GSTR 2B, there is a lot of confusion, and rightly coined by Arubda, whether this is going to lead to litigation. Being said so, before we begin with the today's session, we would like to give some disclaimers. And I always give this example of India-Bangladesh match. We all know it was the World Cup match which was held in Pune. And we all knew that the ball was a white ball. But umpire gave his decision that it is not a white ball. Likewise, we all want many changes in the form GSTR 9 and 9C, but we have to stick to the instructions provided by the government in the form 9 itself, and we'll have to say that umpire is right and we'll have to go ahead. Secondly, I also quote this movie, Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. In the movie, it says that could be multiple realities, and here is the same with GSTR 9 and 9C, wherein we are saying there can be multiple reporting possibilities and each possibility is correct. We cannot say that it is right or wrong. You may have different possibilities, and we will try to share one of such possibilities of reporting in GSTR 9 and 9C. And the third, that CGPI may or may not subscribe to our views because those are personal, and these views are not in our practicing capacity and those are in our personal capacity. I'll just in next 5 to 10 minutes quickly cover the applicability before we move ahead. So section 44 gives the power wherein it says that every registered person has to file an annual return, which may include a self-reconciliation statement, self-certified reconciliation statement. And here the purpose they say is reconciling the value of supplies with the audited financial statement. That is what the purpose is of GSTR 9 and 9C, which is defined under that. Then if we come to Rule 80, the 44 subsequent rules to Section 44, the Rule 80 says that every registered person shall file an annual return. And from 1718, they have been coming up with exemption through notification. And similarly, this year, wide notification number 14/2024, they exempted filing of GSTR 9 up to 2 crore rupees. Similarly, in Rule 80, it says that 9C is mandatory, wherein the aggregate turnover for the financial year exceeds 5 crore rupees. This is there in the rule itself. Now, there is one more sub-clause in the Rule 80, which says that every electronic commerce operator who is required to collect tax at source under 52 shall furnish an annual statement in Form 9B, but till date, the Form 9B is not yet introduced or released. Therefore, we are not filing it. But the rule says that it is mandatory for those who are collecting tax under Section 52. Then last year, this 44.2 was introduced, wherein a registered person shall not be allowed to furnish annual return after the expiry of 3 years from the due date of filing annual return. And this was introduced from 1st October 2023. Now, so if we go for financial year 22-23, the due date was 31st December, except for these few states, few cities wherein the due date was extended to 10 January. The last date we can file 9 and 9C will be 31st December 2026. So just wanted to know from everyone, what can be logic behind this 3 years? Why it is 3 years and not 2 years or 4 years? What can be the possible logic?
So we have multiple answers.
Yes.
74, 74A.
Yes, 74. But 74, the time limit is 5 years, right?
Okay. So, yeah. Devendra sir is saying that it's 3 years for GSTR 1 and 3B. So, for 3 years for GSTR 9 too.
So 73 is the logic. Sir, can you, sir, you being from the legal side, if you can just let us know what can be the possible logic for this?
Actually, if you see the background, the thing is that once the time limit is set for annual return filing, and many people were not filing the same. So challenge was that they were saying that now I'm going to go and file it at the time of investigation. So when the investigation is happening, they're saying I'll just file it right now with putting up all the figures set. So here basically they're trying to put up a cap that normally investigations take place after 2.5 to 3 years only. So after this 3-year period, when there is investigation going on, the taxpayer will not be in the capacity to file any GSTR 9 or rectify and make amends for whatever mistakes he has done. So,
Right.
as it is always known that a taxpayer has to be alert, so here also alert timeline has been put on the taxpayer. कि अगर कुछ आपको सुधारना है, any kind of errors, omissions you have to rectify, you have 3 good years to make it. अगर वो नहीं होता, then after that you don't miss out the bus basically.
Okay.
And as rightly pointed out also that about the limitation period, keeping that in mind, the general limitation for most of the things being 3 years, maybe the 3 years could be kept, but ideally the 3 years is because post 3 years normally all the major investigations they happen unless and until it is based on a specific information that there is a suppression of the statement. So other normal investigations are taking place after 2.5 to 3 years. So that's why this timeline of 3 years has been set. That उसमें आप file करो.
Okay. So one more question to you, sir. So after introduction of 74A from 1st November, do you think that this will change to 3.5 years?
Yeah, even that is what we
The
were
time limit
speculating.
under 74A is 3.5 years.
Yeah, actually that is something that we were thinking, that once the goalpost has been shifted from 74 to 74A and 3.5 is the timeline, maybe this could be shifted to 3.5 years also. But having said that, I think 6 months would not make a major difference. So I don't think the act would be changed to that extent for those 6 months.
Okay. Now, sir, one more question which I have in my mind. What will happen after 31st December 2026 with respect to the late fees and also with respect to the penalty?
See, what I feel personally is that the notices will come. The notices may come. That since you have not filed the GSTR 9 and 9C within the time, so you have to pay the late fees and the penalties towards it. But since I am bound by the particular timeline, after that, even if I want to, I cannot file my GSTR 9 or 9C. So in that case, extending the time limit, the penalty to the maximum extent possible, that would be a huge challenge.
Right.
Because I'm not given the opportunity to file it, beyond this 3 years. My limitation is being taken by within 3 years. So in that case, what I feel personally is that even if the penalty is being charged, that will be charged up to the maximum period of 3 years and not beyond that, not on a blanket level.
So to conclude is the late fees can be charged only up to 31st December 2026 and not
Yes.
that, right?
Not beyond that, yes.
Sir, one more question in addition to this. Whether late fees will be charged for 9 and 9C both or only for 9? Can we take audience views first?
Yeah, I think there is already a question from Parag sir that GSTR 9C doesn't have late fees. So he's already asked. Yeah, so I think, what is the view of the house on this?
Yes. So if anyone would like to reply to this question, whether
On
the
the chat
late
box,
fee or penalty will be applicable for both 9 and 9C or only 9?
Okay. Soumya ma'am is also saying 9.
Yes.
Swapnil is also saying 9. Okay.
Asha ma'am is saying both.
Both. Any other views? Okay, general penalty can be invoked, right?
The same will apply for penalty also, whether penalty will be only for non-filing of 9 or both 9s also.
Yes. Yeah, I think we have got quite a few views. So your view first, then I'll go with the second view with that.
Yes, sir. I'll just quickly cover my view.
Yeah.
So my view is that Section 47 lays the late fees and 47 says only return filed under 44, and 9C is not a return, it is a statement, self-certified statement. So there will be no late fees for 9C, and also there cannot be separate fees because 9C is a part of 9. That is what I am looking at it. My humble submission would be that 9C is an integral part of 9. Therefore, there cannot be a separate late fee or penalty for 9C.
Yeah. And I completely subscribe to your views based on the second part. That if you see, whenever you are going to 9C, it has a dependence on 9. So if you see in table 5 of 9C, we are seeing that the turnover from GSTR 9 is being auto-populated in GSTR 9C. Similarly, in case of ITC, table 12, we are seeing that what is the 12D says, what is ITC as per 9. So if you take it as a whole, 9 and 9C is a consolidated unit. So if I'm paying late fees for GSTR 9, no further late fees is payable for 9C. And more so because of the view that we have taken, wherever in a few matters where 9C ki penalty was, late fee was actually charged, we had got notices. So we said that where is it in return? It's not a return. Even if you see the heading of 9C, it says it's a reconciliation statement. So for a reconciliation statement that I'm giving, which is not in any form a report, that in a kind of return that I'm filing as per the Act. So no question of late fee should arise in that particular situation. But more than this argument, the earlier argument that both of them are considered to be single unit. 9C is not a standalone statement that I'm preparing. It is only a derivative from the GSTR 9 that we are filing. So therefore, in my view, no late fees should be charged separately for GSTR 9C.
Okay. Should we go ahead, or are there any views from the audience regarding this?
Yeah, I think, if there are views, we can take that. Yeah. I think let's go ahead because we have a lot to cover.
Yes. Sir, I just want you to cover a little bit about section 126. So what if I have filed 9 and 9C, but it is delayed filing? Now, can I get the benefit under section 126? Sir, can you throw some light for 126?
See, basically, what is the intent with 126 is great is that you have made an unintentional mistake. What has happened? The turnover of the RTP or the registered taxpayer was 10 lakhs. But he had a new accountant. जिसने उसको क्या कर दिया? 1 crore कर दिया. Now, that 1 crore had auto-populated to 3B. So by mistake, he didn't see that. And he filed. He was trying to file that, in the 3B. So he could not file it. Why? Because, that 1 crore per tax ज़्यादा दिखा रहा था. So उसने क्या, what he had done is, he had shown the taxable value as 1 crore. Tax amount he reduced. He thought taxable value में red आएगा तो problem नहीं है, उसमें red आएगा तो problem he reduced. So in this case, after doing this, since his throughout the year turnover is not 1 crore, so he could not reverse that particular thing in 3B, the taxable turnover. So it's an unintended mistake that has happened. It's not an actual misstatement of turnover. If it was that actually I had an invoice of 1 crore, but मैंने उसको 1 crore 1 में दिखाया and 3B में I have shown 10 lakhs just to save on my tax, then that is a misstatement. But the first example that I gave, जहाँ पे कि भाई because of mistake एक zero ज़्यादा लग गया, तो उसमें it's a minor breach. तो उसमें 126 applicable नहीं होना चाहिए. So similarly, in some of the situations like where we take the view is that suppose I am, my registration was cancelled. I could not file my 3B. So I could not file my GSTR 9 on time. So in these cases, these regulations, these delays that have happened, that's because of procedural requirement. Because unless and until I file all my 3B, I cannot file my 9. So it has a dependence on the procedural requirement. So in that case, I think the proper officer can give us the benefit of section 126, though in majority of the replies, the benefit of 126 is not sought for. Whenever we are filing a reply, in major cases, wherever there is minor glitches or minor errors or there are procedural requirements, we need to take this ground that this has happened. Like in this case where I'm telling about the registration was cancelled and again restored after a long time. Now we have the benefit of 16.6 for allowing the credit. But if you see, as far as the return filing, it's put on halt. जब तक मेरा registration restore नहीं होता है. So I'm unable to file that 9 and 9C. So I think in all those cases, 126 benefit should be given to the RTP.
So what I am understanding is, in case of genuine reasons, 126 can be taken into consideration. However,
Yes.
On purpose it is filed late or due to accountant नहीं है या any other issues, then in that case 126 cannot be sorted.
Right.
Not take recourse of 126, right?
Right.
Okay, yes. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Are there any views from the audience or any questions?
Yeah, inputs question. Yeah.
So there was one question. What about penalty? Penalty will be under section 125, which may extend up to 25,000 rupees under one act. So
Yes.
total will be 50,000 rupees. And if we talk about the late fees from 22-23, I'll just quickly cover the late fees.
Yeah.
Aggregate turnover up to 5 crores, then 25 rupees per day, maximum of 0.02% of the turnover in state. Just one thing we should look at is the aggregate turnover over here. For this classification, the term is aggregate turnover. So you need to check pan India. However, at the time of applying late fee, it is turnover in state. Similarly, if it is between 5 to 20, then 50 rupees per day, maximum of 0.02% of the turnover in state. And if aggregate turnover is more than 20 crores, then 100 rupees per day, subject to 0.25% of the turnover in state.
And Chandra, since we are on the stage of penalty, so
Yes.
when we are defending the penalty notices for 9 and 9C,
Yes.
there is a cap of this maximum up to this the turnover thing. So we need to understand that in many cases what we are seeing that they're giving a straight away calculation of point so much percent of your turnover you pay as penalty.
Yes.
Those way we have to see what is as per actual calculation what is the penalty.
Right.
If that is not, if that penalty is actually lesser or lower, then we should take that ground first instead of saying all the other technical reasons why I could not file 9 and 9C on time. Because in many of the cases we are seeing that when we have gone for appeal, people are actually challenging about all other things, like system is not right, GST is new, I do not know. So let us also take this view. Sir, that is a maximum cap given. That is not the minimum cap given. It's based on number of days and subject to that. So if
Right.
number of days are less, the amount is actually less, I should be given that particular benefit.
Right. Then moving ahead, I will quickly cover the amendments applicable for 23-24. So there was first notification number 12 by 24, which was released on the 10th of July, wherein 3 amendments were made. The first amendment was insertion of table 4G1, which is supplies on which e-commerce operator is required to pay tax as per section 9(5). And table 5C1, which is supplies on which tax is to be paid by the e-commerce operator. So in case a restaurant is supplying through Swiggy, then the restaurant will report under table 5C1 and Swiggy will report under table 4G1. So this is the newly inserted table for financial year 23-24 in GSTR 9. And what happened is they amended the instructions to table 8A, wherein they said that from 23-24 onwards, table 3I of form 2B shall be auto-populated in table 8A. Now what happened? During this amendment, they changed the instructions, but the main head of the table, that is table 8A head ITC as per 2A, that was not changed. And on 8th of October, through notification number 20 by 2024, they changed the main head of 8A ITC as per 2B on 8th of October. And then subsequently on 15th October, there was advisory that now if you check form GSTR 9, it is ITC as per 2B. And then we all know that ITC as per 2B is appearing over here. And recently on 9th of December, they issued one GSTN advisory. It is pertinent to note that this advisory is issued by GSTN and not CBIC. So we are going to cover one example wherein we were just yesterday, we were checking this advisory, and issues to this advisory may be also different from person to person. Because first you need to decide in which way or which possible way you are going to go and file the 9. And accordingly, your issues with respect to this advisory may also change. So issues may not be same for all registered assessees. We are going to cover the issues with respect to ITC as per GSTR 2B in the subsequent slide with an example. Before that, I will quickly cover the relevant tables for 23-24. Table 4A to 4G1 is a mandatory table. That is all the supplies, taxable supplies, B2B, B2C, all that is mandatory. 4I to 4L is optional, that is credit note, debit notes. That is either you can report net in 4A to 4G1 or you can report it separately. 5A to 5C1 is mandatory. This is all export without payment of tax, SEZ without payment of tax. 5D to 5F, there is an option. You need to mandatorily report non-GST supply in 5F separately. And there is an addition to either report the exempted, either report separately supplies as exempted and nil rated, or report consolidated information for these two under the head exempted. That option you have, but you need to mandatorily report non-GST supply. And table 5H to 5K, that is credit notes and debit notes relating to the above supplies, it is again optional to report. You can either report it net or you can report it separately. Moving ahead to table 6, 6A is auto-populated. 6B to 6D only mandatorily report the breakup of capital goods. Rest all can be reported in inputs. 6E is mandatory and 6F to 6M is also mandatory. So if you check the form, A to H, the entire thing is mandatory over here. And you need to have a bifurcation between inputs and capital goods. And the rest of the figures over here, 6M, are also mandatory. 7A to 7F, that is reversals, that is mandatory. Table 8 is mandatory, that is the reconciliation table. Table 9 is mandatory. 10 and 11 is also mandatory, supplies declared in the next financial year or reversed in the next financial year. Surprisingly, table 12 and 13 is an optional table. However, we suggest that you mandatorily report table 12 and 13. That is ITC availed in the next financial year or ITC reversed in the subsequent financial year. Table 14 is again optional. 15 and 16 is mandatory. And 17 is also mandatory from 21-22 outward HSN reporting. And table 18, that is inward HSN reporting, is optional. Reporting requirements for 9C. So table 5A, that is turnover as per financial statements, is mandatory. 5A to 5O, that is the unbilled revenue, unearned revenue, that can be clubbed in table 5O. 7A to 7F, that is also mandatory, that is reconciliation of taxable turnover. 9A to 9Q is also mandatory, rate-wise reconciliation of the tax-wise paid RICO. 12A is mandatory, that is ITC as per the audited financial statements. Again, surprisingly, table 12B to 12C is also optional, that is the last year ITC and next year ITC, but again, better to mandatorily report that. And table 14, that is expense-wise ITC, is optional. We'll quickly cover the reporting requirement for table 4, 5, 6, table 4 and 5, and 10 and 11. So with this example, if we say turnover declared in 3B in financial year 23-24, or turnover on which tax is not at all paid in 3B, that is 80 crores. Then turnover declared in 3B in the next financial year is 10 crores. Turnover on which tax is not payable is either declared in next year or again it is missed out in declaring in 3B, that is export without payment of tax, that is 10 crores. And my total turnover as per financial statement is 100 crores. So how should I report in GSTR 9? This 80 crores, if you look at the instructions to form 9, it says that table 4, 5, 6, you need to report the current year figures over there. So the 80 crores, which is either reported in the in 3B or it is missed out in reporting in 3B, the taxable turnover, you need to report in table 4. Then turnover which is declared in the next financial year in GSTR 3B need to be reported in table 10. Now, if export without payment of tax, the taxable amount, if you have reported in next financial year, then report it in table 10. If you have missed it out, then better you report it in table 5. And the total will be total of 0.5, that is 100. Yes. Do we have any queries with regards to this reporting? Now, what is happening, as there is no separate row for reporting last year figures, there is a difference in table 9. That is the issue. If, for example, 22-23 turnover tax on the turnover is paid in 23-24, table 9 shows that excess is paid in current financial year. And if 22-23 was reduced in 23-24, then table 9 impact is that you have paid short in the current financial year. That is what the table 9 issue is. I would also like Arubda to share his views and legal issues on table 4, 5, 10 and 11. That is relating to the supplies.
Yes.
Arubda, you are not audible.
Yeah. So,
Yes.
yeah. Okay. So we have some questions here which says that Swapnil is asking whether sale of land is non-GST supply or not. And Pratik Boraji is asking how to show FNO turnover in GSTR 9. And Kunal is saying next year 3B reporting covered is up to October or up to date of filing of GSTR 9. Okay, great. So I think so. This is how the queries that we'll be taking up right now. So coming to first about table 4 and 5, I would like to share that from the litigation point of view that we are seeing. In terms of table 4 and 5, in many cases it's been made an Excel exercise. Excel में we are getting the sale register, we are tagging it to table 4, we are taking it to 4 B2C है 4A, B2B 4B, credit notes are matching, and table 5 is also being accordingly Excel tagged. But we have to remember that when the client is coming to us, when as a chartered accountant or as an advocate, when we are doing a review of the GSTR 9 and 9C, also we need to see beyond the Excel statement. And why do I say so? Because suppose there is a particular turnover which is shown in B2C, but you are saying in that particular case that the particular person GSTN number is given, and still we have been showing it at B2C. So what would happen is that at a later stage there will be again a conflict. That why this was shown in B2C, why not shown in B2B, and things like that. So the thing is that in your case, maybe you have not shown it under B2B, maybe that person has not got the benefit. Okay, he is not taken the benefit in his ITC. But we need to see to it that as long as we have the GST number with us and we have shown it at the time of invoicing, we have shown his GST number, we have issued a bill to him with his invoice with his GST number, then merely because his registration is cancelled and we could not show it in his B2B in his GSTR 1, we don't need to change it to B2C. Okay, because this, right now, the complications which have come in circular 183, 193, maybe tomorrow some declaration needed to be given by you. So the question would come, when you have made a B2B supply, why did you show it in B2C? So it is of course true that this person's turnover has been suppressed by you. So that is one stand in many of the notices that we are getting right now. Another important thing about credit notes is that after e-invoicing has come in place, some of the government contractors, okay, or the infra clients, what we are seeing is that they are issuing credit notes just because the invoice has to be cancelled. Okay, so what we are showing is we are showing it in 4B and we are also showing it in the credit notes. Now, the issue that is coming at the later stage when the review is either scrutiny is happening or maybe a show cause has been issued and you are told that please give us the detail of all the credit notes that you issued, what is the reason, and so there we see that there is no reason, because 34 has given you an outer line in case of reduction of taxable value, reduction in tax rate, or deficiency in supply of goods, deficiency in supply of services, or defective goods, you can issue a credit note. So in those cases, in the initial days, 17, 18, 18, 19, maybe we have gone with this exercise. But now, if the matter is so that you are raising an invoice and you had to cancel it because your client is not accepting the particular invoice, because of which you have issued the credit note. So in that case, do we at all need to show the invoice and the credit note? Maybe we can avoid showing the first invoice that we have shown and the credit note, and we can only show the actual second invoice, which we have issued to the client, basis which the client is availing the ITC. Okay, because GSTR 9 is as per my books, as per my turnover made. So whatever I've done just to set off in my returns, because मैंने invoice कर दिया था, मैंने one में दिखा दिया, so I showed a credit note just to negate that, because I didn't want to amend that particular invoice. Okay, I have done a credit note. But the thing is that what issues the clients are facing is that the second invoice is not being challenged. So say you have issued an invoice in February, you have issued a credit note in March, and again you have issued a invoice in March. So what revenue is doing is that the first invoice or the second invoice, they are not challenging. कि आपने invoice नहीं किया. But in case of credit notes, a challenge is coming. Then how could you issue this credit note because it is beyond section 34? So while doing all this, we also need to go beyond the Excel and understand what are the practical situations under which it has happened, so that while complying with the books of accounts and the law, we also see to it that the proper reporting of the thing has been done. Now coming to table 5, another important area is export
Sir,
of.
I will just like to add to your point.
Please, yeah.
Yes. Can I?
Yeah, please.
Yes. So one more issue, practical issue, which is happening is now in SAP, if the invoices are cancelled, then that is linked to the main invoice number. There is a reference number which is given. Now,
Yes.
the client, when the client is filing GSTR 1 and 3B, they are not reporting these cancellations. But many a times what is happening, even we are considering it as credit notes at the time of filing of 9 and 9C. And we are not segregating these, whether it was cancellation or credit notes.
Okay.
Even that is happening because the client has properly reported as cancellation in 9 at the time of in the books, and also at the time of 1 and 3B. But at the time of 9 and 9C, by mistake, what we do is we consider those as credit notes. The net impact is the same, but then what is happening? Credit notes as per 9 are higher than those compared with 1 and 3B, and that is leading to notices.
Exactly. So about credit notes, you have to be extra careful as to what we are reflecting, whether it's from both the angles from law, because practically maybe that's a proper solution that you show in the turnover and the credit notes. But going as far as 9 is concerned, because as you know, the topic of the thing is that whether 9 and 9C is a gateway to reconciliations or litigation. So it should not give a birth to a new litigation. Now coming to Pinkesh Mehtaji's question that what if the new invoice is issued in the month of April? So in that case, what we are advising our clients is that for the invoice of February, you amend the invoice instead of issuing a credit. You can always amend the invoice and make it 0.1. And since you have not got the payment, no TDS is deducted in that case. It is a better ground for you to explain that this invoice I had issued, but I had to amend it because of this particular reason, and also attach the particular email communication or whatever communication you have, and you show the fresh bill in the month of April because it's going to a different financial year, and since you're paying it in 3B and all, so there should not be any issues with that. So if there is an overlap of financial years, ideally amendment is a better solution than filing a credit.
Can you just add one point?
Yeah, please, sir.
See, what has happened ki recently we came across a situation whereby I have raised the invoice, I have issued the credit note, and both the events have happened in the same month.
Right.
And when I compare the auto-populated data of GSTR 9, that is not considered by the system at all.
Okay.
It means ideally it should cover, because once I have reported in my GSTR 1 as a B2B invoice and I have issued the credit note also,
in the same month,
that data should get captured. But since it is for the same GSTN number, auto-populated data doesn't consider that.
Okay.
It is a portal code. Portal code can do anything. But here the question.
Then what is the ultimate impact of that? Only that.
See, the tax effect is nullified. But here the point which we should, I would like to ask both of you, from a legal perspective as well as the reporting perspective, do we report information which is correct as per my database which I have maintained? report as a B2B and as well as considered as a CN, which is reported in my books of accounts.
Okay.
Value-wise, it is not making a difference. Levy-wise, it is not making a difference. But from a current disclosure perspective, do I report or do I don't report? So I would like to, both of you should answer. How do we approach this particular thing?
I think we should not report. If it's for the same month and the invoice value and the credit note value is same, similarly, like in this case that I've shared. So in my books of accounts also it's getting netted off.
Yeah.
So in that case, I'm of the view that we should not report it in GSTR 9 itself, because invoice will not create a problem. The invoice reflection will not create a problem, but the credit note reflection is creating a problem, and that is going to a lot of explanations.
I would like
Then you have to get a confirmation. Then you have to get a confirmation from the recipient that they have not availed the credit, that they have not made the payment. And if your work order is going for 2 to 3 years, that's a huge ask for you.
See, as far as the burden of proof is concerned,
that
that can be easily discharged. That is not a problem. Because, levy and the reversal, if it is documented and justified, in that scenario, what do we do? Do we report or do we don't report?
I would like to differ from Arup sir's view.
Uh-huh.
I feel that if it is reported properly in 1 and 3B, we should report it in 9 as well. Practically, what is happening is they are comparing it with 1 and 3B, 9 versus 1 versus 3B. So if there is a gap, then there are high chances that a notice is issued. So my view is that we should report it, and if the notices come, we have the documents wherein we can prove.
Yeah.
If we don't report,
then
then
it-
again it will go to non-reporting.
Because we were finalizing 9C and this question came up and the value was extremely substantial.
But sir, is it that invoice is shown in the turnover also in the AFS?
Yeah. See, but ultimately when I look at the AFS,
Yes.
it is already netted out in my top line. Because since the effect has to be taken of the current year, my
Right.
books of accounts will show the revenue as well as the reduction in the revenue both.
Right.
But when I see it is there, the entries are there in the books of accounts because now we have to do the audit trail.
Yes.
We can't remove any entries in the books of accounts technically.
Right.
See, few years back we were removing the entries. That was now we have to maintain the chronological order also. That disclosure is there in the documents list also.
Right.
So that we reach the conclusion that we will report that information. It is not making a impact on my liability.
No, it will not make. It will not make.
But I have a documentation, I have a confirmation, I have a termination documents, I have a reasons to back.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Yeah.
If you have the documentation, because that is what you have to address it to the proper officer whenever the notice is coming in this regard.
Correct.
But one challenge we are facing in these situations is when we are asking the recipient to give a certificate that he has not made the payment of the first invoice, they are saying, I have not got the first invoice. So payment how do I give the certificate? So that is one major deadblock that we are having in this particular.
What we have done in this particular scenarios is when we do such kind of a transaction, we take a confirmation on record. We have formulated a certification and take it on record. Because
that could be one of the ways that you take
nobody knows.
Yeah, you take it on record while filing the 9 only. Then you need to have it on record.
Sir, what we are doing is that we are issuing certificates stating that the invoice was also not recorded in our books and the credit note also was not recorded in books, which is giving a net impact.
Right.
This type of certificate is being issued from my side. So then there is no legal problem at the supplier's end as well.
But challenges are different.
Yes,
they are not looking at the credit. They are saying credit note क्यों issue किया? That is the main argument.
Thanks.
So now going to Vikashji's, I think has a question. Vikash Agarwal, if you can unmute him.
Yeah. Good evening, everyone. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Arup bhai, Chaitanya, I just wanted to add one small point on this. It's not only matching 9 with 1 and 3B. The point, if I have reported some wrong credit note in 1 and 3B, then it's an opportunity for correction also.
Yes,
so since I am also handling a lot of litigation here, what I'm seeing is it's a very frequent that we chartered accountants have failed to understand the difference of GST credit note debit note and commercial credit note debit note. कमर्शियल क्रेडिट नोट डेबिट नोट को रिपोर्ट कर देते हैं, जीएसटी डेबिट नोट क्रेडिट कोड को रिपोर्ट नहीं करते हैं. एंड एज यू राइटली पॉइंटेड आउट, there is a lack of understanding of the ERP and accounting system. So that needs to be rectified. I'll share one very important example here. Recently, there is one industry here in Sanand. They issued a invoice of 18% for instead of 28%. And this was immediately highlighted by the customer. The customer said कि अभी पता चल गया है तो आप इसको amend कर दो, ठीक है. और they had amended it. तो दे सेट कि भाई आपको जो भी अपने अकाउंटिंग सिस्टम में एडजस्टमेंट करना है वो आप डेबिट नोट क्रेडिट नोट करके करो. जीएसटी में मेरे को सिर्फ 28% का इनवॉइस चाहिए. फॉर्चुनेटली दीज गाइस दे वर नॉट अंडर ई इनवॉइसिंग स्कीम, सो दिस कुड बी पॉसिबल, दिस वाज पॉसिबल. नाउ व्हाट देयर अकाउंटेंट डिड, उन्होंने 18% का इनवॉइस अपलोड कर दिया, क्रेडिट नोट भी अपलोड कर दिया, डेबिट नोट भी अपलोड कर दिया. सो दीज आर द थिंग्स वी नीड टू अंडरस्टैंड, because unless and until we understand these things and make the right filings in 1 and 3B, फिर बाद में 9 में मैचिंग कराने के सिवा कोई ऑप्शन नहीं रहता. दिस इज व्हाट आई जस्ट वांटेड टू ऐड टू दिस.
Right, sir.
Right. So now quickly going to table 5. Table 5, some of the major litigation that we are seeing is, one is export of goods without payment of tax, or export of services without payment of tax है, and हम लोग उसको 5 में दिखा रहे हैं. But the particular when at the time of say in kind of refund or in kind of any kind of notices they've got, the RTP is unable to show the LUT. So when we as reviewer of 9 and 9C, we are showing some amount, we are reviewing the particular amount and showing it in a particular head, because this might seem to be very, कैसे हो सकता है, ऐसे नहीं होगा, कैसे, but these are happening and we are actually fighting 2 to 3 matters on this, कि जहाँ पे export of goods लिया गया but LUT फाइल नहीं हुआ है. Though that's a procedural lapse, but the thing is, it's again litigative. So at the stage of 9-9, at least we should make the client aware that this is kind of a thing that has happened. That's the kind of risk that you have. So maybe in the days to come, this will have, and the later corrective course of action is a different thing. But while filing, we should take care of this. Another important thing is that
Can
in
I
many
share
cases,
my experience on this?
Yeah.
Yes. So the similar case had happened in one of my clients' case. क्लाइंट जून में आया मेरे पास, तो दे सेड वी हैव LUT एंड देन वी फाइल्ड स्टेटिंग LUT है एंड देन विदाउट पेमेंट ऑफ टैक्सेस. एंड इन वाइल जनरेटिंग नेक्स्ट ईयर LUT, वी फाउंड आउट दैट पिछले साल का LUT वाज नॉट जनरेटेड. So then what we did is we prepared the entire reconciliation along with the FIRCs, prepared a letter giving reference to Circular 125. I think one of the paragraphs in Circular 125 says that if there is a delay, you cannot reject the refund.
Yes.
And as there is an impossibility to apply for an LUT in the next financial year,
right,
we need to keep this on record. And we submitted that letter. Later on, department audit was also initiated. However, the department took cognizance of that letter, and no liability was issued against these transactions.
So exactly. So that is very important. So you're apprising at this particular. क्योंकि हम लोग अगर सिर्फ उसको एक form fill up के हिसाब से देख रहे हैं, we file the figure and then forget. Then later on, when the litigation is happening after 2 to 3 years or 4 years, then we are at a loser's end because we have to fight the entire litigation based on it's a procedural lapse or what. But as Chaitanya ji shared, if you take corrective action, like if you take corrective action at that particular point of time, maybe at the future stage, we'll save a lot of litigations.
Yes.
Another example on this line is about the exempt supply. तो क्लाइंट ने मुझे बता दिया कि एग्जाम सप्लाई है, मैंने देख लिया 1 में है, 3B में एग्जाम सप्लाई मैच कर रहा है, बुक्स में है ये टर्नओवर, दे हैव नॉट चार्ज GST ऑन दैट, सो मेरे लिए 5 में एग्जाम सप्लाई है. बट आई लाइक टू गो स्टेप बियॉन्ड दैट. इन केस ऑफ एग्जाम सप्लाई, देखिए इन केस ऑफ टैक्सेबल सप्लाई देयर विल बी न्यूमरस HSNs, so it would be a difficulty to actually check whether the classification is right or wrong. Though in our case, as a matter of good practice, whenever we have a new client onboarding, we try to check all the HSN for the particular client just to see whether it's a taxable or non-taxable supply or not. But at least for the exempt supply, please make it sure to have a HSN level checking by one of your team members. Q, we are having many, not one or two, many litigations wherein classification issue is coming now after 5 years. In fact, the person, they have got the refund also. उनका exports है, export का भी refund मिला, उसमें भी they have said, rule 42, 43 have reversed, no, it's okay, no problem. But now when audit is happening, audit has checked, audit has found that to be exempt. Now they are saying, oh, rule 42, 43, whatever reversals you have done, you forget it. Now pay tax on this first. Okay. So, like in case of, there are many issues like, branded, non-branded, all those core issues, or maybe when there's a thin line of difference between exempted goods and non-exempted goods, taxable goods. Okay. Or maybe in case of pharma, you are selling some medicines, but because you are using some wrong HSN in your ERP, that it's going with the exempted supply ka HSN, whereas it's a taxable goods. So all these things we have found, and in many cases, clients have also paid. But the thing is that once we know this particular thing at the time of reconciliation, there are, as Chaitanya has rightly said right now, we can take many steps at that particular point of time. Okay, so maybe at least, if not for more, from this year onwards, at least the classification will be changed and it will be made correct. Okay, and for the past year also, if management wants and management is convinced of your classification that you are suggesting, maybe they would go ahead and pay the taxes also. So that is one of the things. And the last thing in this particular table 5. Yeah. Right. Example. So, Chandraji is saying that, 230, there is this section 11A that has come, as this concept that this market industry practice kiya tha, and that all those things are there. But again, whenever we are saying that, maybe if it's an industry practice, like in case of ice cream parlors, all of us have been charging 5%, it's okay. But in one of the matters or a few matters that we are fighting, it's an individual case wherein it was a problem with their system that it was being followed for the last 2 years. And so this taxable good was treated as an exempt supply. So in those cases, it may become a problem. If it's an industry practice, maybe it's still, we can take the benefit of section 11A. And considering the industry practice, then maybe we can take the decisions. And coming to the last thing on table 5, since we have limited time, and abhi Chaitanya ji ko bahut kuch cover karna hai. So one big thing is non-GST supply. So Swapnil ji has asked whether sale of land is a non-GST supply. Yes, from the perspective of table 5, it's a non-GST supply. But from the perspective of rule 42, okay, from the perspective of rule 42, as per section 17(3), it considers the sale of land to be an exempt supply for the limited purpose of rule 42 and 43. Okay, so there it's for a limited purpose that it's considered to be exempt supply, but for all other practical purpose, it's an exempt supply. Okay, and what is the valuation that needs to be given in case of reversal? It is the circle rate of that particular sale rate, not the transaction value. And in case of FNO also, it's a sale of securities. So whatever is the value of securities that you're handling, that would be treated as exempt supply again. But again, it would be also treated as a non-GST supply, not an exempt supply from the perspective of table 5. Okay, and the last non-GST supply that is very important is the pure agent ka supply, rule 33. So you must be handling clearing agents, custom house agents. So we are surprised to see in many cases where clearing agent, the charges that they are charging to their clients, which are not to be brought in the levy, as per rule 33, which says that if you are, paying something, on cost to cost basis, and you are making additional supply, you have an agreement, the invoice is in the name of the recipient, you are not using, the supplier is not using the goods or services. So in all this case, rule 33 is giving you a benefit that is outside the ambit of valuation. So that is typically a non-GST supply and not an exempt supply. But you might be asking that why are you so bothered whether हमको non-GST में दिखाए कि exempt में दिखाए? The reason being, once you show it in exempt, automatically the AI-based notices, they're considering it for your ITC reversal. And then now you are at a state to prove that reimbursements on pure agency basis were on back-to-back basis. अब सब invoice दिखाइए, all details आप show कीजिए, तब जाके आपको उसका benefit मिलेगा कि वो exempt supply क्यों नहीं है. So these are few of the things that I wanted to highlight from litigation perspective that is seeing. And this last thing that I've told, people have got notices in crores just for one simple mistake of showing all these non-GST supply in exempt supply. So we need to be extra careful in table 5, though it does not have any bearing on taxpayers. Over to you, Chaitanya.
Yes, thank you, sir. Now, I will quickly cover the reporting of RCM. So, I think in 17-18 itself, there was a press release which stated that जितना ये साल के 3B में दिखाया है उतना ही दिखाइए Rest, if you have paid in the next year, that will come in the next year's 9 and 9C. So even if the books is showing more and you have paid it in the next year, जितना ये साल में दिखाया है उतना ही report करना है in GSTR 9 and 9C. Now coming to the main agenda of today's meeting and the confusion with respect to table 8A, which is ITC as per GSTR 2B. So I have just quickly, I'm trying to explain through one example. So if you can just take or capture a photo of this example so that it will be easy for us when I explain the relevant tables, that is table 6, table 8. So at that time, it will be easy for you to check on this example. Okay, I hope everyone has taken a photograph of this case study. Okay, so now what are the issues in table 8A and why all the confusion has started? Two reasons. First is that 22-23 ITC, which was appearing in 2B of 22-23 ITC, which was appearing in 2B of 23-24, is now getting auto-populated in table 8A. Now, this specific figure got reported twice, that is GSTR 9 of 22-23, it got reported in table 8A because it was ITC as per GSTR 2A. And again, the same figures are now reported in table 8A for financial year 23-24, leading to a lot of negative values in table 8 and which may lead to notices. And the second thing, as it is now ITC as per 2B, the ITC which we have availed for financial year 24-25 in financial year 24-25, which belongs to 23-24, is now not appearing in table 8A. Now, yesterday, Arup sir and I, we were discussing on the entire advisory and the reporting thing. And then we came to a conclusion that why such advisory was issued. So if you see circular 170, and if we are following circular 170, then the advisory makes sense, wherein the entire reporting of table 8A is linked to the circular 170, wherein they said that temporary reversal come karo, reclaim ka add karo, and then accordingly you file GSTR 3B. So for this example, what we will do is we will first try to map GSTR 3B for the year according to the example, and then we will go to table 6 and table 8. Now again, I will first cover the instructions to GSTR 9, but there are multiple assumptions and one may have different assumption. Today I am going to cover 3 possibilities. As I said earlier, there can be multiple possibilities. It is up to us and on case-to-case basis which possibility you want to go ahead with. So if you check instructions to form GSTR 9, 2A says that against table number 6, you need to report values pertaining to current financial year only, and the value pertaining to preceding financial year shall not be reported here. That is, last year figures shall not be reported in table 6. Now, what we are assuming is that now everything is as per 2B. So, this value pertaining to financial year is assumed as values available in GSTR 2B of that year and not the current financial year. That is one assumption. Now, 6M covers details of ITC availed but not cover in any of the heads above. 8C says that ITC available in this year, which is availed in the next financial year. And table 13 says ITC for goods or services received in the current financial year, which is availed in the next financial year. Now, table 13, there are multiple assumptions, but if you go by the instructions, it is specifically saying that all those goods or services which are received in current financial year and ITC of which is availed in next financial year, only that figures need to be reported in table 13. So for example, if I have received the goods in April 24, then that availment figure will not come in table 13. That is what the instructions is suggesting. Now again, you may assume that the entire availment I will report under table 13, or you may divide it received in goods received next year, goods received in current year, and accordingly you can report the availment in next year in table 13. Now, I will quickly cover the same example. Yes, is the screen visible?
Yes.
Yes. So this is our example. I will quickly explain this example. 20 crores is such that it is pertaining to 22-23, but availed in 23-24 and is appearing in my 23-24 2B. 10 crores is availment in 23-24, but it was appearing in 22-23. That means what has happened last year, it was not booked, or I have made a temporary reversal and then reclaimed in this financial year, that is 23-24. And 23-24 ITC, which I have availed in 23-24 and was appearing in 2B, that is 100 crores. And so total which I have availed is 130 crores, that is 20 plus 10 plus 100. Now 23-24 availed in 24-25 because it was appearing in 2B of 24-25, that is 30 crores. Again 23-24 availed in 24-25 but was appearing in 2B of 23-24, that is 5 crores. That means I have availed the credit and I have made a temporary reversal in the current financial year and availed it in the next financial year. And there was some 5 crores ITC which was relating to imports and which was not availed by me in 23-24. Now, if we look at GSTR 3B and if we follow circular 170, this is how my reporting will be. This, if I generate the annual summary of GSTR 3B, this is how it will appear. The first is all other ITC. It will be 135. How 135? 20. This is 20 crores, which I have availed this year. 10 crores, which I have availed this year. 100 crores, which I have availed this year. And 5 crores, which I have availed and then reversed under temporary reversal. That is 135. And the 5 crores, which was reversed because of temporary reversals, will appear over here under table 4B2. So the net ITC available will be 135 minus 5, that is 130. And under the reclaim option, I will be showing 10, which was this 10, which was appearing in last year's 2B. I had done a temporary reversal and claimed in this year's GSTR 3B. Any doubts till now? Am I clear, or shall I explain it again?
Generally, last portion could you explain this one? Only this.
Which one, sir?
Even.
10 wala? Okay. So this 10, if I have availed 5, if I have availed this 10 crores, I will avail under all other ITC and I have to report the same under reclaim as well. Saying that ये 135 में से 10 करोड़ मेरा लास्ट ईयर का है जो मैंने लास्ट ईयर के 2B में दिख रहा था और मैंने टेम्पररी रिवर्सल में डाला था. So what is going to happen? How this 135 is coming? 20 crores on account of 2B appearing in 23-24. 10 crores is my reclaim amount which was appearing in last year's 2B but I have availed this year. And 100 which was appearing this year and claimed in this year. Plus 5 crores which was appearing in 2B but I have not claimed it and I have shown it under temporary reversals. That is 5 crore over here. So my net ITC is 130 and out of above 135, 10 crores belongs to my last year temporary reversal which I have reclaimed in this year. Okay. Now, how this will
Chaitanya,
flow in table 6?
like Soumya ma'am is asking that what is the difference between 20 crores and 10 crores? So, मैं दिखा देंगे.
Sir, you are not audible. Just a second.
Can you show 10 crores and 20 crores वाला?
ये वाला 10 and 20 ये 20 2B में था ये साल के,
हाँ.
और ये जो 10 है वो लास्ट ईयर के 2B में था, लेकिन मैंने टेम्पररी रिवर्सल में डाला था लास्ट ईयर, और ये साल में रिक्लेम किया हुआ है.
Okay.
आई नो इट इज वेरी कंफ्यूजिंग. 3 लोग और कंफ्यूज होने वाला है, बट अगर एक एक समझेंगे तो थोड़ा समझ में आ जाएगा.
हाँ.
So currently I am assuming that circular 170 is followed. Then second example we will take कि circular 170 is not followed.
Right.
And third general example कि वो ये नहीं समझ में आ रहा है, तो और एक क्या कर सकते हैं, ऐसे 3 possibilities लिए.
So if I have to just repeat it once, Chaitanya, so this first 20 crores जो है,
हाँ.
that is actually ITC of invoices of 22-23.
Yes.
वो 22-23 के 2A में नहीं आया था.
हाँ.
Came in my 23-24 का 2B.
Yes.
And I've availed it in 23-24. That
Yes.
is 20 crores.
Yes.
10 crores is 22-23 invoices. I've availed in 23-24, but these are the invoices which are appearing in my 2B of the earlier year also, 2A of the earlier year, 22-23. So that is the basic difference. But the
Yes.
20 crores is appearing in this year's 2B, 10 crores is appearing in the last year's 2A. So
Yes.
if you see, these are the two differences.
Yes. And this 5 crores this was appearing in 23-24 2B, but I have made a temporary reversal and claimed in 24-25.
25, right. And about the 30? And about the 30 crores also, yeah.
30 crores was not appearing in 23-24. It was appearing in next year only, next year 2B.
Okay. Okay.
So how will my 3B will be? So 135, that is 20 plus 10 plus 100 plus 5. That is 20 crores of this last year, the current year 2B figures. Then 10 which I have reclaimed in this year, 100 which I have claimed, and 5 which I have claimed in table 4A5, that is 135. And out of that 5 I have shown in under temporary reversals, because due to some reasons I am not going to avail, or booking is not done, or I don't know right now whether I should avail it or not. So I have kept it under temporary reversals. And then the net ITC I have taken for 23-24 is 130. And as out of 135, 10 is the reclaim amount. Therefore, I have shown it separately under table 4D1. Now, how these figures will flow in table 6? Table 6A will show 135, that is as per table 4A5, this 135 figure. Now, what we are assuming is, or what the advisory is suggesting, you take figures out of the above 6A figures, you take only those figures which are appearing in current year 2B. That is what we feel is the advisory is suggesting. कि आप 135 में से ये साल के 2B में कितना आया है, तो इफ आई चेक ये साल के 2B में कितना आया है, तो ये 20, ये 100 और ये 5. That is 125, which is appearing in the current 2B. That is 125. And that is what we are assuming for instructions in table 6 also, that it is saying कि current year का जो 2B है, उतना ही आप लीजिए table 6B to 6H के अंदर. Then there will be a difference of 10, which is to be reported under 6M. If you wish, you can report. If you report, then the difference will be 0. And this 10 will be ITC reclaimed in 23-24, which will be this 10. And then the total ITC availed will be 135 in 6I to 6N table 6O.
So 10 is effectively, if you go to 3B, 10 is the ITC that I availed in 22-23, reversed in 4B2 in 2023,
Yes.
and I was silent. I didn't do anything after that. Now, in 23-24, I'm reclaiming it.
Yes. So
So in
basically,
23-24, I've reclaimed it in my 4A5 or 3B. So
Yes.
that amount I'm showing in 6M.
yes, 6M. So that basically that amount is which was appearing in last year's 2B.
Yes.
This is what advisory is suggesting. Now, if I go to table 8, how table 8 will appear? Again, 125 will be ITC as per 2B, that is 2223 ka ITC, that is 20 plus this 100 plus this 5.
Yes.
That will be my table 8A ka figure. Now table 8B is 6B plus 6H and not 6N. So 6B plus 6H is 125 and not 135. Therefore table 8 में 125 auto populate हो जाएगा. And now what the advisor is suggesting, whatever you have claimed in next year, you report over here. Now, if we go by the actual circular 170 and what we have done in table 30, table 4 in GSTR 3B, we have availed at 5 rupees. However, we have posted it in temporary reversal. So the availment is actually done in this year only. So then there is no question of reporting any figure in table 8C. However, the advisor is suggesting that you keep that figure which is availed in next year in table 8C. You report there. But what our interpretation is saying that this figure is already availed in my table 4A5, which I have shown under temporary reversals. Therefore, there cannot be any reporting in table 8C. And then my table 8 will be 0. My table 8D difference will be 0. And then table 13, as the advisory suggests, you report all the next year availment figure in table 13. So table 13 can be 40 rupees. So if we check the case study, 40 rupees is this 30 plus 5 plus 5, 40. Or if you don't wish to show this figure, then it will be 30 plus 5, that is 35. This 30 which is in next year or 5. So it can be 35 or 40. But if you report 35, then the practical difficulty comes how we will explain it to the officers ITC availed in the next financial year. That is the question over here.
Yeah, because ideally if we go as per let's go step by step. If we go as per circular 170, then whatever is there in your 2B, that is the thing that you have claimed in your 3B, ideally. Okay. Plus, what would be added to that? The last year's reclaim that you are having this year. Only that amount will be added. Nothing beyond that. So ideally, for this particular year, 2B and this, if we go with this concept, Ajay, we'll address one question of the first. Yahiyaji is asking that why 6M? See, what is happening is this particular, if you look from 6B to 6H, it is towards the ITC, which has been claimed for the financial year 23-24 with the invoices which are appearing in 2B only. So for us, that figure is 125. And the 10 of the last year, which belongs to 22-23, which was reversed in the last year, and we are reclaiming it in this year, we are taking it in 6M in all other ITC. Okay, what is the purpose of taking this in all other ITC? Is because once we take it in all other ITC, the matching of 8A and 8B is happening, which is actually as per my law, that whatever ITC is available to you as per 2B, you should avail it in 3B. So ideally from this particular financial year, when 2B is the Bible, then there should not be any ATC ideally. Okay, so that is one reason.
One more reason why I am adding it to 6M is, if you don't add it to 6M over here, then this figure will be 125 and this will be auto-populated in 9C, leading to difference in 9C. So you may take a call of not reporting over here and there will be a difference in 9C, and you can state in 9C that this is the reclaimed ITC of 2022-23. The option is up to you. So if you don't report here, then total ITC is 125. There will be a difference over here, and there will be also a difference in GSTR 9C table 12.
Chandra, another question is regarding that 5. Somnath is asking whether I need to reverse. Where is that? Whether I need to reverse rupees 5 in the table 7. a temporary reversal that you are showing, and you are already showing it here in 6B to 6H. So that 5 rupees reversal has to be shown in 7H.
Yes.
That has to
3
be there.
rupees has to be shown in table 7, and that is why if you show 5 over here, then it will lead to difference of 5, negative difference in 5 over here. Just because we need to show it in table 7 reversals. Ideally, 8B should be 6B plus 6H minus 7, so that there is a proper reconciliation. But as it is not considering table 7, then the question is arising that whether we should report the next year figure over here or not.
Okay. Next is Prashant is asking, what about 22-23 ITC, which is reflecting in 23-24 2B? तो वो तो ठीक है, वो तो it is coming in my 3B, I'll show it in my 6B.
हाँ, यही है वो 10 जो है, ये यही फिगर है ना, वो 22-23 का ये साल में आया है।
नहीं, ये तो 22-23 का रिक्लेम वाला है। प्रशांत जी पूछ रहे हैं 22-23 आपका फर्स्ट वाला 20 करोड़ वाला।
हाँ 23-24
तो 22-23 का इनवॉइस डेट, 23-24 का 2B, I've taken it 23-24 का 3B, it is traveling to 6B, उसमें कोई इशू नहीं।
उसमें कोई इशू नहीं है, राइट।
Next is from Nitish ji. Can you please also take an example where ITC of 23-24 was available in 2B of 23-24, but was temporarily reversed and reclaimed in 23-24 itself. Okay, so
in that case, what will happen? You will have to show under 6B and 6H as well. So it will be twice reported, but again the reversals will come under 7, which will lead to again negative balance in table 8. Right, sir? That is the issue right now.
Yeah, because the thing is that as per the one option is that since you are matching, now the concept is that I am matching my 4A5 with 6B and 6H. So whatever ITC I have availed at the first instance, I take it in 6B. Whatever I have reclaimed for that year, I take it in 6H. And whatever ITC I have temporarily reversed, I take it in 7H. But as per the advisory that is issued, I think on the 9th of December, it says whenever you are availing a credit, reversing a credit, reclaiming the credit in the same financial year, show it only in 6H. So if you show in 6H, you will not have any problem in table 6. उसमें आपका कोई problem नहीं है. Only problem is in your reversals again. Your reversals are not going to match. That is the only issue there. Because आपका अगर आप 6H में दिखाएंगे, मतलब 23-24 का 2B में है, 23-24 में I have availed, 23-24 I have reversed, 23-24 I have reclaimed. In this case, I can show it in 6H. That is as per the advisory also. If I do that, the only challenge, if I do that, my table 6 will match, my table 8 will also match, there will be no problem. Only challenge is the reversals as per my auto-populated 3B, annual auto-populated 3B जो है, that will again not match with my reversals as per my GSTR 9. Right? But again, going to 9C, your ITC will match because वो knock off हो जा रहा है, जो first आपने लिया था, avail किया था, and जो आपने reverse किया उसको knock off हो जा रहा है, तो 9C में match हो सकता है. So again, if you go in the advisory, you just have to show it in 6H.
Now, yes, we just cover the questions.
Yeah. So sir is asking that this year. So now the question is that अगर ये जो हमने बताया, avail, reverse, so we are telling it as ARR. So not क्या था वो क्या RRR नहीं है. It's ARR. Okay, you have to be careful. So it says avail, reverse and reclaimed. If it's in the same year, can I show it in 6M? My answer would be no. Because this is coming in 2B of this financial year. So if anything is coming in my 2B of this financial year, it has to be covered within 6B to 6H. Chandra, would be.
Yes. So there is one more example which I have covered, because from this year we are meticulously following the reclaim and reversal.
Chandra, sorry to interrupt you. There was one question by Swapnil ji that shouldn't 8 and 13 match always?
No, sir, it will not
8C
match
and 13.
always.
8C and 13. Sorry.
Yes, because table 13 will include imports and table 8C will not include imports. So not necessary it will match always. As far as possible, if there is no import, then yes, 8C and 13 should match. But now as with the introduction of ITC as per GSTR 2B, I don't think it will match.
And more so, if you look at the instruction of 13, it says goods or things were received in the last year. Okay, and you have availed the credit in the next year. Whereas 8C is more of amount which has come in my 2B of 23-24, for which I have availed credit in the last year. So there is a minor difference there. So that is also thing. Another important thing is that another thing that is being questioned is, अगर हम लोग इस ईयर का ARR मतलब avail reverse reclaim को अगर हम लोग 6H में दिखा देंगे तो 8D will be negative. So I think it will not be negative because you are taking the credit only once, so there should not be any difference in 8D. Because whatever is there in your 2B, you are availing it only once in 6H. So ideally, there should not be any difference in 8D.
Yes.
Yes, over to you. Yeah.
Yes. So what has happened is circular when 170, many of us have not followed in 23-24. And what we did is that we checked 2B versus books, and then we directly reported the actual figure in all other ITC, and we did not do the temporary reversal and the permanent reversal. This was done by many of them, and we did not follow temporary reversals and permanent reversals. So if we go by that example, then what can be the scenario? So what will happen in table 4A, the 5 which I had availed and reversed over here, which I had availed and reversed over here, will not come into picture because I have what I have done is straight away I have availed 130, that is 20 of last year, 10 of last year plus 100 of current year, and I have not made any temporary reversals, and I have also not shown any reclaim in my GSTR 3B. Now if we go in table 6, table 6A will appear as 130, that is coming from table 4A5, that is 130. Now out of 130, if we see what is available in 2B pertaining to current year, that is 120. How 120? This 20 plus 100. Now here 5 will not come because 5 is not added above. So this says out of 6A, मेरा 2B में कितना दिख रहा है ये साल में, तो 120 दिख रहा है. Again there will be a difference of 10. This 10 is pertaining to reclaim amount, though it is not shown in GSTR 3B, but this will be again relating to reclaim. And table 8A. Now 125 will remain the same, but 6B to 6H in this example is 120 and not 125. Therefore, this will come as 120. Now, in this case, we can report 5, which is actually out of 125, ITC, which is availed in the next financial year, that is 5, and table 8D will be 0. I am again stating that table 13 should be 40 because practically it is impossible. If we go into the officer's shoes, how will the officer believe कि ये पिछले साल का ये साल में ITC लिया हुआ है? So ये 40 और हमारे books of account should match. That is what practically I am suggesting कि आप 40 ही report कीजिए. Otherwise, it will be impossible for us to convince the officers. And if we go into the shoes of officer also, वो भी तो convince होने चाहिए कि ये सच में 40 है और वो 40 report किया हुआ है, फिर okay, ठीक है, no problem. Yes, now we can take up questions.
So, Chaitanya, I think there is one question from Rani Kothari ma'am. There was some technical problem she had missed on the discussion about non-GST supply. So, ma'am, as actually what we are suggesting is that sale of land and with building we have completed building. So that is a part of Schedule 3. So it's a non-GST supply from the perspective of Schedule 5. It is an exempt supply only for the limited purpose of Section 17 to reduce section 17(3), wherever we are doing exempt supply along with taxable supply, and we have to reverse it under Rule 42-43 only for the limited purpose. It becomes an exempt supply for the purpose of reversal. Otherwise, it's only a non-GST supply. In case of trading of shares also, sale of securities, it is again deemed to be an exempt supply as per section 17, subsection 3. What does it say? As in your chapter 5 of the CGST rules, where input tax credit is there, at the end of the chapter it is said, in case of sale of securities, 1% of the sale value of the securities will be treated as exempt supply, and it needs to be reversed accordingly. So only for the limited purpose of reversal, it will be exempt supply, not otherwise. So now coming quickly to the other queries. Yeah, Somnath ji, we have just shared that only when we are sharing in a lighter mode कि ARR. तो अगर ARR है मतलब avail, reversal, reclaim same year में हुआ है, उसको हमें 6H में दिखाना है. Now, Chaitanya ji, will you take the queries of Tanmay ji while punching data wala?
Yes, sir. Permanent reversal now. I think we cannot do anything in 9. If we
No.
report in similar fashion, what will happen is there will be a difference between 3B का जो ये reclaim का amount है या फिर temporary reversal का है और जो हमारे इसमें आ रहा है, that we can explain कि by mistake we have shown it under permanent reversal. But 9 now we cannot do anything because it is as per 3B only.
Yes, because as you all know, even in the press release of July 2019, it has been said that no credit can be availed through 9. आपको पैसा कुछ नहीं मिलेगा. अगर देना है तो पैसा दे सकते हैं. आप टेबल 4 में दिखा दीजिए additional turnover, BRC 03 में पैसा जमा कर दीजिए, that you can do. But you cannot take any benefit from GSTR 9. So as Chaitanya shared, so if there is a mistake, then so the question is, I had a temporary reversal. I have shown it by mistake under permanent reversal, and 30th November has gone. So can I do anything right now? The answer would be unfortunately nothing could be done in GSTR 9. At the most, what could have been done is that we could have re-avail the credit by giving a letter to the jurisdictional officer saying that this mistake has happened in case of permanent matter. Because once you show it in permanent reversal, reclaiming it again becomes a challenge. That's why we have this electronic credit reclaim statement now. आप जो भी कर रहे हैं, that has been tracked. What is the opening credit? How much you have reversed? How much you have re-availed? And all those things have been done. Now coming to the next question, while punching data in 3B, erroneously we have Feb 24 4B2 numbers, again of 4B2 of March. So we have reversed it twice. So we have effectively reversed it twice. So in this case also, since we have shown it in temporary reversal twice, so it should ideally be lying in your reversals. And if you have not reclaimed it back, then I think showing, because it will be coming in 41. So if you have not reclaimed it back within, the due date for 23-24, which is November, then I don't think we can do anything about that also.
Just replying
Finally,
to
none of these adjustments should be shown in 9.
yes. Just replying to Rani ma'am's query, it is to be shown under table 5F because table 5F says including no supply. So you need to report in table 5F your non-GST supply and no supply as well relating to sale of land. And there was, I think, one more query that how do I show reclaim of 180 days? So you need to show it under table 6H. So even if you have not shown it under temporary reversal, no issues. You can show it under 6H, and whenever time comes, you can prove it that this is relating to the reclaim as you have paid back to the supplier.
Yeah, because in this case, in your case, Ravinder sir, 21-22 में हमने रिवर्सल किया था. उसका तो मतलब ये 4B1 4B का जन्म तो हुआ अगस्त 22 में. So it was not born at that time. It got only legitimate birth only in the month of August 22. So no question of reversal was there at that time. So yeah, you can always take the availment, and yeah, the option is between your 6H and 6M. But since this is of a year, past, since it is not of 2B of this financial year, so we would ideally say that it could come in 6M because it's for earlier financial year. Next is Prakharji is asking to show the case study table.
Yes,
Second case study table once again.
Yes, case study is the same, but I think sir wanted the 3B table of case study number 2.
Oh, अच्छा,
I have
अच्छा,
already shown it.
ठीक है.
Yes. So all this was on the assumption that table 6 only all those figures to be reported which are appearing in 2B. Now, what if we go with the assumption that table 6 says only current year figures, nothing else. So 2B में आया है नहीं आया है उससे हमको कुछ नहीं लेना देना. ये साल के जो फिगर्स है, लास्ट ईयर के फिगर्स आपने ये साल में क्लेम किए तो वो मत रिपोर्ट कीजिए 6B to 6H में. सिर्फ जो करंट ईयर के आपके फिगर्स है वही आप रिपोर्ट कीजिए. तो बेस्ड ऑन दैट assumption I will quickly cover another way of reporting. Just a second, I'll just share the presentation.
Okay. In the meantime, Chaitanya, I would like to answer to Nitish's question that that about the negative table. हाँ उसमें आपका negative आ रहा है. The question by Nitish sir is that if I show it in 6H, then I'm having a 80 negative. इसलिए आ रहा है क्योंकि that figure which we are showing that means which is availed, reversed and reclaimed in this financial year. If you are showing it in 6H, you have to deduct it from 6B. If you do that, if you deduct it from 6B and show it in 6H, then your 80 will not be negative.
So any which way it will come because 6B में आ गया, 6H में आ गया और टेबल 7 में आया सर.
अगर वो दिखा हाँ
8 में 7 के फिगर्स नहीं ले रहे, that is why it will lead to negative liability.
Yeah, then it will lead to negative. If you are showing both 6B, 6H में दिखा रहा है, then it will come as 8 negative.
Yes, because it is availed twice, no sir. So 6B
Twice.
में आएगा, 6H में भी आएगा and 7 में भी आएगा, but 7 the figures of 7 are not considered in table 8.
Yeah.
So then there will be a negative liability.
So there are two options. One option is you show in 6B, 6H, 7H. इसमें 8D में आपका डिफरेंस आएगा. But आप क्योंकि वो तो क्रेडिट तो आपके 2B में एक बार ही आया, but आप दो बार ले रहे हो, 8D में डिफरेंस आएगा. रिवर्सल टेबल में डिफरेंस नहीं आएगा. If you go in the advisory view, what will happen? You just show deducted from 6B. उसमें मत दिखाइए. Show only in 6H. Don't show the reversals. Then your 8D will not be a difference. There will be difference. Difference will only be there in table 7 का मतलब auto populated reversal के साथ mismatch होगा.
Right.
And Kedar has given the summary. Kedar Kulkarni has given the summary of today's discussion. He's saying अगर 2B के हिसाब से 3B लेंगे झमेला कम. That is the right thing. Okay, then over to you, Chandran. Yeah.
Yes. So there is one more assumption that if we go by the literal meaning of instructions, which we were doing till last year, it was saying ITC pertaining to 23-24 shall be reported in 6B to 6H. So then what will happen? Table 6A will be 130. That is, I'm considering that I have not reported it and reported under temporary reversal. I am straight away what I have done is जितना मेरे पास था उतना मैंने all other ITC में report कर दिया था. तो table 6A will show 130, that is 20 plus 10 of last year and 100 of this year, that is 130. Now if you see my example, current year का जो availment है that is only 100. So that is what I will report in 6B to 6H. And table 6J will show a difference of 30, which I will report in 6M, which will be ITC pertaining to 20 to 23. And table 6O will be 130, which will be reflecting in table 12 of GSTR 9C. If I don't report anything in 6M, then there will be a difference in table 12 of GSTR 9C. Now, what will happen in table 8 is, table 8A will show 125, 8B will show 100, that is only relating to current year, 6B to 6H. Now, out of above 125, 5 is claimed next year. So you have an option, either you report 5 or if you don't want to report anything, it is up to you. But suggested is that you report 5 because out of 125, 5 is claimed next year. And then there will be a difference of 20, which will be short availed as per table 8. But this 20 will be relating to last year's figure, which are appearing in current year 2B. And then again, table 13 will show the entire availment in next year, that is table 40 crores, which will match in the next year as well. And there will be a proper reconciliation, and practically on the ground level, we will be able to satisfy the officers, and even officers will be satisfied. That is my practical view on this reporting.
Yes, but Chaitanya ji, अभी 20 मिनट है आपके पास, सिर्फ 20 मिनट. Just like Chaitanya ji, 40 मिनट. I mean, it's 7:40. So now we have to move. Yeah, इसमें जाते हैं, right?
Yes. So 9C क्या होगा? टोटल एज पर बुक्स मेरा 140 है, लास्ट ईयर का 30, नेक्स्ट ईयर का 40, 130 which is as per books of accounts, and 130 which is auto populated from GSTR 9 table 6O minus the reversals, and therefore unreconciled ITC will be 0. So I will just quickly show you the summary of what I have explained right now. The third possibility, table 6A will be 130, 100 will be only current year figures, which is to be reported in 6B to 6H. Out of 100, report capital goods separately. Then 6J, there will be a difference of 30, which will be relating to last year availment. Report that in 6M. And then you have an option to report 5 crores in table 8C, and table 13 will be 40 crores. Now, one practical is that you need to check table 8 from case to case basis, and you need to ensure that either it is 0 or positive. It should not be negative, because negative will lead to notices and litigation. Yes, there will be negative in cases where there are reversals reported in table 7, or you have actually availed in excess in the current financial year and you have reversed in the next financial year. In that cases, yes, there will be negative liability in table 8. But other than that, I don't feel there can be any negative liability in table 8. But again, I will suggest you need to check it on case-to-case basis, on your client-to-client basis, and on the assumptions you are going to go ahead with, and then finalize the filing of GSTR 9 and 9C, because I have only shown 3 possibilities. There can be multiple possibilities.
Right.
Yes, can we go ahead?
Yes, yes. अभी जाना ही पड़ेगा.
So these were the disclaimers. I think one aspect is that if you are going with the third possibility, I will suggest that you upload even whatever possibility, whichever possibility you are selecting, you just upload it in the 9C, the entire reconciliation, so that in case the officers say that you have not followed the advisory, or they say you have followed the advisory, you can say that, okay, there was an issue with respect to advisory, and therefore I have attached the entire reconciliation as per books, and this is what I have no intention to suppress any figures.
Right.
Yes. So, sir, just one question, small question to you. What if I do not report anything in 8C? Whether that will lead to suppression, and whether any consequences or penalty will be liable?
See, if you're not reporting exactly, so this is the definition of suppression that is given in explanation 2 to section 74, which has been now deleted from 1st November 2024 because it has been inserted in section 74A. So if you see here, it's a unique thing where it says suppression shall mean non-declaration of facts or information which a taxable person is required to declare in the return. So in your 8C, you have to declare what is that ITC which is appearing in this year's 2B, which you have not availed this year, but you have carried forward to the next financial year. Now, if you have followed circular 170 very strictly, then there should not be any figure in 8C. तो उसमें कोई problem नहीं है. क्यों? Whatever has come in your 2B of 23-24, you have always availed it in 4F5. So there is no question that I have not availed anything or I will be availing it in the next year. I have availed it reverse किया है, reclaim करेंगे next year, that is a different question altogether. So if we do that, then there is no problem. But if we are not going by circular 170, we are going by the old school of thought, जहाँ पे कि जितना मेरा 2B में मैच कर रहा है books के हिसाब से, I'm taking it in my 3B, and then doing all the reversals as per requirement. I'm not going into temporary reversals and all. So in that case, if there is a carry forward of ITC to the next year, then this could be treated as a suppression. And this may lead, as we all know, from this year onwards, it will be 74A, which will guide both fraud and non-fraud matters. So here, if it is treated as a suppression, then maybe the additional penalties and all those things will be applicable in this particular case, considering it to be suppression. Because this is a fact that I have to state in a particular return, and I've chosen to remain silent on that particular thing, considering कि negative 80 में क्या आएगा, positive में क्या आएगा. Ideal situation is, whatever facts or information you have to discuss, as per our as Chaitanya has rightly shared, there are multiple mixes here, permutations and combinations. One, you have followed circular 170. One, you have not followed circular 170. One, you want to go with 6H in case of ITC of previous year, reclaimed in this year. Other, you want to go with 6M for ITC of 22-23, reversed in 2023, reclaimed in 23-24. So this could be, there could be, you want to show the claimed, then claimed in 6B, reclaimed in 6H, reversal in 7. So you want to show it in that. You don't want to show that. You want to show only in 6A. So all these permutation combinations are there. So let us always think that what according to my principle, whatever principle I've decided for my client, I'm finalizing that, filling up all the data. Table 8 में जो भी difference आ रहा है, 6 में जो भी difference आ रहा है, let us explain that with the form of a note, reconciliation note, and attach it to GSTR 9C if GSTR 9C is applicable to us. Right? So if we are doing that, we can at least take that stand that I had made the information available to you. कि मेरा reconciliation say that this is there, this is coming, 8C में आ रहा है, ये difference आ रहा है. So I had informed everything to you because it was available to you as a attachment in your GSTR 9C. So there is no suppression from our side. So I think that is one important thing.
Yes.
And while we discuss this, one thing I missed while discussing about 7 is that since we have gone from 6 to 8 and 9, from 7 is that we need to remember that whenever we are giving figures for Rule 42-43, let us also have the calculations in place. In many cases, when we are going for appeals, okay, we are seeing that there is no calculation at all. We don't know how it was taken in Rule 42-43, and so defending the matter at that appeal stage becomes a difficulty. So when you are doing it in 9, at that time you can do all the calculations for T1, T2, T3, T4, कौन सा taxable है नहीं है. You can ask the client, they can give the details, and accordingly finalize the calculation, and then maybe show it. So even if there is an excess reversal to be made, we can always do it through a DRC 03.
Yes.
Yes, over to you, Chaitanya.
Yes. Thank you for your input, sir.
Now we quickly have one more case study, right? Case study
Yes,
2.
we have 2 case studies. Let's cover case study number 3 because it was very relevant and
Yes.
participants were asking how to report the sale of residential flats after completion.
Right.
So, a quick question to all of you. So, Mr. Hulk Builders and Developers is registered under the GST and the turnover reported for the financial year 23-24 as per financial statements is 35 crores. Now, out of that 35 crores, prior to completion, only 1 crore flat pertaining to only 1 crore was sold. Now, post completion, the remaining 34 flats were sold and the total amount came to 34 crores. Now, the question is whether GSTR 9 and 9C will be applicable. So, the total as per financial statements is 35. However, prior to completion is only 1 and post completion amount is 34. So, any views from the audience?
We can have a quick view from the audience.
Yes. Vikas sir is saying no. Ramesh sir is saying yes. Vikas sir, if you can just explain us why no.
See, because it has to be a turnover, either exempted turnover or a non-GST turnover. In case it is sold after the like BU permission, then it is sale of immovable property. There is no supply, no at all of any
Okay.
goods. It's an immovable property.
Okay. So whether it will be covered under non-taxable supply?
No, no. It
Okay.
is not a supply at all. There has to be supply first for it to be defined as exempted non-taxable supply. It's not a supply at all because what is sold is not goods.
Okay. Any other views?
I think you'll have to conclude with your view क्योंकि अभी 1 मिनट ही बाकी है इसके बाद we'll have to have Q&A also.
ठीक है. So yes, as rightly said by Vikas sir, if we go by the aggregate turnover definition, it says all taxable supplies, including exempt supplies and exports. Exempt supplies says nil rated, all those which are wholly exempt from tax and includes non-taxable supply. And non-taxable supplies are those supplies which is not leviable to tax under this act. So my submission would be that sale of flats after completion are covered under Schedule 3 and it is no supply. Non-taxable supply are those supplies where they are straight away not taxable or there is no levy under Section 9, that is petrol, alcohol products which are covered under non-taxable supply. Therefore, we do the audit for petrol pumps because the petrol turnover is a non-taxable supply. So even if the turnover is 10 crores, the oil supply is hardly 1 lakh, which is a taxable supply, and the petrol turnover is a non-taxable supply. Therefore, we do the audit 9 and 9C, not audit, we file the 9 and 9C. But the sale of flats after completion will be covered under Schedule 3, which is a no supply, and it does not fit into the definition of non-taxable supply or exempt supplies, and therefore my humble submission would be that 9 and 9C would not be applicable. Sir, your views, please.
Yeah, same. Only one thing I need to add that there is a question that if advance received is exceeding that, then in that case, of course, since advance which is received and have not completed the building in that case, so for that it will be added as a turnover. But if the advance is received after a building has received the CC, so in that case again it's a for a non-GST supply.
Yes, because as per the POT, it will be turnover. It will be a taxable turnover for that purpose.
Yes. Yeah, Subramanian sir, yeah. But we need to unmute him. Yes, sir. You can unmute yourself. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Sir.
Yes, sir.
Hello, sir.
Yes,
but
sir.
in respect of real estate, the
Mhm.
builder is selling after the completions of after getting the completion certificates.
Right.
There is a reverse charge mechanism is there, no, from after April 2019.
TDR,
If
for
you
the
go-
TDR.
Yes. So therefore, after April 2019, even in respect of the property, even in respect of the flat, which are all sold after completions of certificates, there is
Yeah.
a liability on the part of the builder to pay it under
Yeah.
RCM.
Sorry.
So
Yeah.
therefore,
Yeah.
can we take a stand saying that say you paid under RCM? So therefore, there is a liability. That liability,
No,
what
sir.
is
No, sir. Here we need to understand that what is he paying under RCM? It is a TDR. Prior to 1st April 2019, the liability on TDR was being discharged by the landlords, by the landowner.
correct?
So
Correct.
now what has only shifted is the payment of tax from the supplier
Correct.
to the recipient. Okay. And that also, the time of supply for that is the date of CC.
Completion, yes.
So the moment the CC happens, he is liable to discharge his tax under RCM. So
Correct.
post that, it
Agreed.
gains the character of an immovable property. So after that, whatever bookings are coming to me, that is actually a part of Schedule 3. Because we need to understand that many have a myth, we have a myth in some cases that in case of real estate, after the CC is received, the GST is not payable, so it is an exempt. We need to understand and appreciate in case of GST, the entire tax is to be paid. Three people pay the tax. Either the flat owner will pay for the flat sold to him, or in case of area sharing, the landowner will discharge the tax on the constructed portion shared to him, or the developer will pay for the unsold flats as on the date of CC. Whatever flats are remaining unsold, on that, as on the date of CC, the developer will discharge the tax under RCM. So whatever tax is to be levied and collected, that is done prior to the date of CC or on the date of CC. Okay.
Correct.
So if that is a scenario, post the date of CC, whatever new agreements for sale are being entered in, for wherefore I am getting the advances. So that is coming under non-GST supply.
Sir, but my RCM liability will be, I would have paid under RCM. There will
Yeah.
be a tax payment during the year. So
Yes.
therefore, the corresponding revenue will not be there. That is my question. That is my.
Yes, sir, the
So,
definition of aggregate turnover exceeds the RCM.
Yeah, it's an expense for you actually. That's why if you go to the 80/20 circular where they are giving this benefit, that's why they have said this expense on TDR is to be exempted while calculating 80% of the purchase, from the registered dealers.
sir,
So that is
that
actually an expense for the developer.
no, sir, that is, you are talking about exemptions. I am not coming on that. What I am asking you is that they would have paid the tax on the date of completion of certificates. They would
Yes.
have paid the tax under RCM. So
Yes.
therefore, assuming that for the financial year 23-24, I got a completion certificate in February 2024. In
Right.
February 2024, there are 3 flats which are unsold,
Yes.
on which the builder they would have paid under RCM.
Yes.
Okay. There will be a more payment of tax, and there will be a payment of tax, but there will not be any corresponding revenue. So therefore, that also one reconciliation statement that I am talking.
Right.
Oh, achha. So that
Yes.
can happen. So this will come under your this thing, no? This is the RCM payment that you are making.
Correct. Also
Yeah,
making
so
payment. I paid through by I have to pay by cash. I paid it by cash. It is in the
yeah.
account. It is discharged. So that should be shown somewhere in Form 9. That is my question.
Yeah, no, that you have to show in Form 9 under the head where you are paying under RCM.
So that
Yes,
That
but
you have to show.
again, only for that purposes, if it is not the other sale is not exceeding 2 crore, then it is not getting covered under aggregate turnover because aggregate turnover
I agree.
excludes the
That I
value of
agree, sir.
inventory.
Yeah.
Okay. Because Section 2(6) talks about aggregate turnover that excludes
RCM.
Yes.
RCM. Yes.
Yes.
I agree, sir. Yes.
Yes. Okay,
Thank you, sir. I think
we should
yeah.
open for question
Yeah.
and answers, sir.
So over to the MC of the day, Rinav ji. Yes, over to you.
Sir,
One
while
extended question. One extended question by
Yes,
the
yes.
one of the participant.
Yes, sir. Now we
He
can have
says-
questions only.
No. One participant has categorically asked.
Yes, sir.
Instructions to table 5
Yeah.
says table 8 should include no supply also. So continuing the same discussion of the builder, what we are saying, I think he is of the opinion that
Table
being a
5B, 5B. I think
five.
it's
Yeah.
okay.
So I think it appears to be of his opinion that since it is a no supply, it needs to be reported in table 8 of GSTR 9, and consequent to that, 9C would apply. And I will extend his question further.
Yes.
In the scenario, 9C is not applicable based on our discussion.
Mhm.
Will the portal god permit me to file 9C? The reason I'm asking, because the data sharing is happening between the department and the GSTN network.
Right.
In my ITR or a corporate law, I will report 35 crores. Whereas I'll be showing here 1 crore.
Yeah.
So will portal god allow me to file 9C even if it is not applicable?
Sir, I'll just like to answer this question. So that is just a reporting requirement under GST 9 under table 5, 5F. Just because if you report an
5D.
exempted supply, it will impact the reversal under rule 42 and 43. Therefore, if by chance your turnover is exceeding 2 crores, then you need to file 9. And in that case, if there is no supply, there will be a mismatch between the financial statements and your reporting requirement. Therefore, they are just suggesting that in case you are filing 9 and there is a no supply figure, for the purpose of reconciliation, you report it under table 5F. That is the only requirement I feel. Legally, if we
Yeah.
go legal, then
Yeah,
there is no
Chaitanya ji,
requirement. Yes.
Chaitanya's instructions are clear.
Yes.
Non-GST supply has to be shown in 5F. It's given. I'm just
Yes.
into the
Yes.
instruction. It says the registered person shall report non-GST supply 5F separately.
Yes, and
For
5F
23-24.
includes no supply also. That is also
Yeah,
clearly.
I include not. So that thing about including non-GST supply under exempt, that was relevant till 21-22. जब तक वो punching was allowed.
We just have to clarify the questions of the participants.
Yeah, right. No, that's why I said to Gopal sir, that is the thing that if you see instructions to 5F, it is categorically said that the registered person shall report non-GST supply in 5F separate for 23-24.
Yes, Swapnil sir, right. So first we need to see whether 9 is applicable. And if 9 is applicable, then you report that figure under table 5F. Right.
Yes. And I would also like to address one more question which I have not addressed while discussing those tables. That is another major litigation issue that we are facing is in some of the cases, the table 4A and 4B that is not being reconciled with my 26AS or GSTR 7 in case of government contractors.
Right.
So please do that reconciliation also, because in many cases you are accepting the TDS, say with a higher value in that particular year, and you are availing that electronic cash in your electronic cash ledger to offset your tax. But while filing the 3B, you are not including that in your turnover. That may happen because of a lot of reasons. TDS being deducted on GST, there could be timing mismatch. But please have a proper reconciliation of this before filing on 9. Because in some of the situations we have filed, we have seen that some advances were missed to be reported. So, agar wo GSTR 7, in case of government contract, we do that reconciliation, or in case of services we are supplying, we do a reconciliation as we do in income tax. So, 26AS vis-a-vis the 4A, 4B that I'm showing vis-a-vis my income tax turnover, all this will reduce the headaches at a later point of time. So, again, that is a major thing that we are seeing nowadays, because we have to understand the litigations of 3B, 2B, the litigations of 1, 3B, the litigations of 3B not filed, all these things are slowly going to wave off. So now we are going to get into hardcore litigation. So that's why we also have to be prepared and we need to take care of all these things, considering that 9 is actually a last kind of review that is for the client before he's going to file it for the revenue authorities to review it and detect any leakages.
Sir, there
Okay,
are
so
two
we go back
questions.
to the question. Yeah.
Yes, there are two questions I will quickly answer.
Yeah, please.
So, Prinsa ma'am, she's asking that the client is not maintaining or reversing after 180 days. So, should we make the payment of interest? Yes, we should make the payment of interest during 99C. Just ensure that if you check the provisions of the second proviso to section 16(2), it says that you need to reverse it. So 180 days calculation is from the date of invoice and not the date of booking or date of availment. So 180 days will start from the date of invoice. That is the first thing. And you need to pay the interest from the date of invoice. Practically what is happening, we are taking it from the date of booking, because in SAP document date and posting date is available, but many a times in Tally there is only one date which is available. So from that date we are taking. But please ensure that you calculate 180 days from the date of invoice. Then there is one more question. We have two GST numbers. One GST is having 50 lakh and second is 5 crore. Yes, you need to file 999C because you need to check Pan India financials. So if your Pan India financials is exceeding 2 crore and 5 crore, then you need to file GSTR 999C for all your GSTNs.
Units.
HSN wise outward supply, no, it should not include RCM liability. It should only include your outward liability, which is matched with 0.5. Parag sir.
We have further questions after that. Yeah.
The questions would keep flowing.
Yes, they should. That is the purpose.
Arup, the last
But
question.
it's fine. Yes, yes, sir.
The last question.
Yes.
We have spoken about the availment, re-availment, and the reversal. ARR, say average rate of return. So,
And you can easily remember my name also, Arup, starting here. Anyways.
so we talk about ki, say I have done the reversal of say 50 crore rupees
Yes.
and I have re-availed only 40 crore rupees.
Okay.
Can you
10
repeat
crore
once again?
total reversal is say 50 crore rupees. Temporary reversal. Huh? We are only
Okay.
discussing the temporary reversal. We are not discussing anything else. I have reversed 50 crore rupees, which I will report in my table 7. Okay. I have re-availed 40 crore out of that. As on the cutoff date of balance sheet, 31st March 2024. And 10 crores I am going to report in the next year. I will re-avail because based on the receipt of supply or receipt of the service or whatever the reasons are. That 10 crores. Besides that, I have some invoices, say of 2 crore rupees, which are reflected in my next year's 2B. So when I'm reporting in GSTR 9, table 13, do I report 10 plus 2 in 13? That is 10 crore, which is outstanding, which is I'm yet to claim. That is in table 13. And do I report in 8C also for the disclosure sake so that I don't get into any issues?
So this is appearing in which 2B? That is the main question.
It's
This 10,
2B. See, in my 2B it appeared, but
in which year? In 23-24.
23-24 we are talking about, which I have reversed.
Yes.
Okay.
10 crores is appearing in 23-24 2B
Yes,
and 2
yeah.
crores is appearing in 24-25 2B.
Yeah.
So I'll just like to share my view. So
Yeah.
if you are going with the first possibility and reporting, you have followed all circular 170, then there will be no reporting in table 8C. However,
What value? What
there will
value?
be zero, no value at all in table
Okay.
8C.
Okay.
Okay. However, my view is that we report 12 crores in table 13 just because practically at the ground levels, it will be easier for us to prove that total 12 crores has been claimed in next year, which will be tallied with my reconciliation and in next year 3B as well. However, there can be a different view. There can be two views also that out of the 2 crores which I have, the goods or services which I have received in next year, that may not be reported. That can be one view. But my personal view is 12 crores to be reported in table 13, which will give a confidence to the officers as well that, okay, whatever you have submitted with pertaining to ITC availment in the next year is matching with your data.
In my views, I'll go very simply. I will show the entire 50 crores in 6B. जो मैंने लिया है 10 crores I'll show in my table 7. मेरा जो reversal है बात खत्म 8 का matching हो गया. Next year when I reclaim that particular thing, I'll show in next year 6M. Simple.
Table 13
and 2 crores जो है 2 crores मेरा next year का 2B में आया है 24-25. So I'll not be bothering about that right now. I'll be bothered only about that in the next financial year.
See, books of accounts will have a variance.
Yes. For that there is 12. For that there is table 12.
I will have a 9C. I will have a
Yes.
9C where I will report appropriately.
Yes.
But when I do a correlation between the two, table
Yes.
12 and 13, 8C, 12 and 13, vis-a-vis the what I report in the 9C.
Right.
Isn't it better to file a reconciliation forming part of the upload document saying that this is the way we have done it, no?
Always, sir. Because this year at least, I'm saying, because some of the matters which are traveling to the High Court, we are seeing that just because of small mistakes in GSTR 9 and 9C, it is being said that it is topple. You are saying, this is something you have said in your GSTR 9, कि मैंने ITC carry forward नहीं किया है. Let us forget about circular 170, इसके पहले वाला. Good old days. So तब क्या हुआ? The proper officer is saying, you have showed in your GSTR 9, table 8C 0, table 13 0. तो हम कैसे मानेंगे कि आपने टर्नओवर वहां से मतलब ITC carry forward किया? So if you are facing any kind of issues in reporting wherever because of technical non-technical reasons, Okay, the technical reasons were also there. कि 2A में उतना reflect नहीं हो रहा था, and all those things were also there. So file a submission of the reconciliation along with the attachment. आज के दिन में 2A का फिगर क्या है, उसके साथ आप डिक्लेरेटरीज को एग्रीको को अपलोड कीजिए. So then at least tomorrow whenever you have been told कि आपने कहीं पे डिक्लेयर नहीं किया है, वो नहीं बताया, you can at least I have given this statement to you because table 8 I cannot do any major number of changes. I only have a few things.
Okay. Thank you.
And even if I feel that even if 9C is not applicable, we should write a letter to the jurisdictional officer along
Yes,
with
that is
the
one good
reconciliation
practice.
this year. At least this year, if there is any circular or clarification, I hope we have a circular from the CBIC clarifying these aspects. But
Yes.
if we do not have a circular, or if we are having a different view in reporting of 9, I think we should write a letter to the jurisdictional officer along with the entire reconciliation statement.
Right. So next, okay.
Questions are flowing in like anything, but I think we are running short of time.
Yes. Time तो Saturday evening है sir थोड़ा सा. So anyways, coming to, in case RCM liability is missed out, acha. So we have a couple of questions from Akashi and Avanthita ji on the Avanita ji on the same aspect. See, we have made a thing very clear. आपको सरकार को पैसा देना है, मतलब you need to give any kind of money. You have missed to pay outward supply. You have missed to report RCM. You have missed to reverse ITC. Please go ahead and do it now. Show it, and then in 9C the shortfall will come whenever you show. But the thing is that इसका payment आपको कहाँ पे दिखाना है? Please be careful. Show it only in table 9 of GSTR 9C. उसमें rate wise breakup में आपका actual liability आ जाएगा. Against that, show whatever amount you have paid through your 3B. Balance amount will come as a shortfall that you discharge through a DRC 03. And mind you, in the DRC 03, please don't fill in only the financial year date. If this is a financial year, give the data. In DRC 03, you can also upload all the data. So please upload. This is the I had forgotten to give. Now I'm giving. This is a ITC reversal that I've not done under Rule 37 or because of 16, whatever may be the reason. Show the entire thing and file the DRC 03, and then that difference, whatever is there, table 9 of GSTR 9C, that will give the clear picture for you in times ahead. Next is
Arup bhai,
yes, sir.
There was one query which seems to be important for everyone here.
Please.
So this was from Tanmay Nirlekar. He was asking, Arup sir, I have two questions. While punching data in 3B, erroneously.
हो गया.
Okay, वो हो गया था कि I missed out. I think.
We are on Ragini Makwana ji's question.
Okay. Carry on.
Ragini Makwana, table 14 wala.
Yes. Regarding that e-way bill question, I think synergy 40 came.
एक मिनट क्या चैतन्य जी विकास जी एक बार क्वेश्चन तक आ जाते हैं तो एक बार you just take it. हाँ रागिनी मकवाना जी का.
Okay.
टेबल 14 वाला मिल गया ना आपको? अवनीता जी का था.
So the Ragini Makwana's question is table 14 in 9C is still optional for 23-24.
हाँ.
Yes,
Yeah, it is
answered in the chat box itself.
Yeah, that's done. Okay, next is from Neha ji. Yeah, Rinav ji, if you would share the question.
That also has been answered. If I have two GST number, different state with turnover more than 2 CR, do I have to file GSTR 9? Yes.
Yes.
We have a question from Manoj Garg. Any condition of 16.2 is not fulfilled, still 16.4 condition would be applicable, and how is it to be reported?
1 second. Last.
So I think, are you talking about the reversal after 180 days? So if it is reverse, then there is no condition or time bar for 16.4. Once you make the payment, then you can reclaim it after even after 30th November.
Oh no. He's saying about goods in transit wala, temporary reversal. I got the thing in my 2B, but the goods were in transit, so I did not fulfill that condition. अब तक भी मेरा goods या service in transit है, मतलब I have not received the goods, so I am not able to reclaim it. But in the meantime, 16.4 has gone away. So luckily, we are in a better position now because we have already availed the credit as per circular 170. Now, whatever you get, you are going to do is you are going to reclaim. So, one argument that we are taking or we have been advising our clients is that as soon as you avail in your GSTR 3B based on 2B, you are actually availing the ITC. और रिवर्सल भी क्यों कर रहे हो? क्योंकि आपको सर्कुलर 170 ने बताया कि आपको रिवर्स करना पड़ेगा. And once you receive the goods or the services, then you are only reclaiming it. So, in my view, outer limit of time for 16.4 should not be seen. But there is a contrary view to this, that in case of goods in transit, maybe since the condition is not being fulfilled or received within the 16.4 deadline, okay, so in that case, there will be a bar on that. So that is also a view that has been taken by the other school of thought. So
In
what
fact-
they are doing is, in that case, they are showing it in, they are re-availing it within November and showing it in permanent reversal, just to
Yeah.
net off the temporary reversal.
Arubhai, most of the departments are taking the second view only, that if you have availed it and reversed it, it is only for the purpose of reporting. But if the
Yes.
conditions are not satisfied and still you are doing it, it doesn't amount to availing.
Right. So
Yeah.
that's why many people, what they're doing is they're re-availing it within the 30th November deadline and showing it in permanent reversals. Q, because if you have a figure in your electronic credit reclaim statement, now the question will be coming, ये figure आपने reverse क्यों नहीं किया? Reclaim भी नहीं किया, आपने reverse भी क्यों नहीं किया? So that question will again come.
So I request Vikas ji to take the last question from Kaustubh Mehendale ji.
No. Before that, there is one more question of Kalyan Das ji. 8:27 को मिला, 8:07 पे.
Yes, ई-वे बिल का क्वेश्चन है
हाँ,
कि
वो important है.
ने ई-वे बिल नहीं निकाला है and they have received the goods and then I think they have received a notice.
But sorry, sir. This is from general parlance, so not
Correct.
for
This is
9.9.
not related to 9.9.
9.9. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, we can go to the last.
If you can take the last
I'll
query.
take the question of Mr. Kaustav. Books have a sale, missed to report in 1 and 3B. Where should it be presented in GSTR 9, updating table 4? Or keep in table 4 matching with 1 and 3B and explain difference in 9C by paying in DRC?
No, इसमें actually see, if you have to see the heading of GSTR 9, table 4, what does it say? It says detail of outward and inward supplies made during the financial year. So as per your books, you have to show it in your GSTR 9 table 4 में आप दिखा दीजिए पहले. But आपका क्या होगा in GSTR 9 table 9 payable amount आपका कम रहेगा, because that amount is whatever you have discharged through your 3B. Now you go to GSTR 9C, उसमें आपका ये डिफरेंस रहेगा कि आपने 9C का आपका जो टर्नओवर है that is higher, and sorry, that turnover will match. But when you go to your rate wise breakup, which is table 9 of GSTR 9C, उसमें liability higher दिखाएगा, but दिखाएगा कि आपने 9 में टैक्स कम पे किया है. That there you go and discharge it through DRC 03, and so your reporting is completely done there. And at the most, in the observation you can mention कि हमारा ये invoice था जो हम लोगों ने नहीं दिखाया था. We have shown it in this year's GSTR 9. We have also discharged the tax through DRC 03 submitted by REAN number such. Yeah.
If you permit, sir, can we unmute Akash Sardaji? He's raised his hand. The last question, I think we should stop there, because as I said, the questions would keep flowing in.
And Saturday evening, you have to remember.
Akash Sardaji, please.
Yes, sir. Sir, as you mentioned that RCM liability we can pay through GSTR 9, but in that case, the client may end up losing the ITC in that case. So in that case, can you advise that they pay it through GSTR 3B of current month so that at least ITC is not being lost?
See, now again, that is a proposition from both the sides. Because first you have to see whether it's from a registered person or unregistered person. ठीक है. अगर registered person है तो आपका 2B में last year में आया है.
Agreed, sir.
So there they will say, why haven't you paid the RCM within time? And there the revenue is raising a question of 16.4. Your liability was in the last year. You had to pay it in the last year. Availing it within 16.4 ka timeline. Okay. Though we have made a lot of arguments. It says invoice and RCM is got through document, not through invoice, and all those arguments are there. But it will be litigated. If it's an unregistered person who's supplying you the RCM wala supply of services, in that case, you can take this position that you pay the same in 24-25, okay, even after, 31st of November, 30th of November, and then avail the credit in 3B. But again, it has to be seen because now 13(3)(c) has also been amended. Okay.
Right, sir.
So taking all this perspective, we need to understand because the problem with RCM is it becomes a clear disclosure. And if it's in case of a registered person, now the 2B के साथ matching हो रहा है. Only in case of unregistered person, we can take this risk.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
So I think most of the queries have been read out and resolved by the speakers themselves. If Vikas ji can find out any other queries, if we have missed, I request him to take it up.
Actually, most of the queries have been covered. One of the query I was under belief ki it was missed. I found it important, but Arup bhai said it was already covered.
I
So
was right.
we have covered all the queries which were related to 9(9)(c). Few of the queries which were general queries which we have been discussed on the chat board.
Yes.
Largely all the queries have been covered.
And still,
Okay.
we will be sharing our numbers also in the PPT. So if there are any queries, we'll be happy to take them forward.
And we can always discuss in our CGPI members group.
Yes, the best thing is you become a member in CGPI,
Correct,
join our
correct.
official WhatsApp group. I will tell you, I am member of at least 10 to 15 WhatsApp groups where we have all elite professionals, right? But CGPI में जितना discussion होता है, the kind of noise that has been created, you have people and the kind of community that we have. आप राजस्थान में बैठे हो, आपके केरला में आपका एक requirement है, you put it in the group, within 5 minutes you have a person from Kerala calling you. And it's not about business, it's not about कि मेरा professional activity है कि नहीं है, it's also about knowledge कि आपके वहाँ पे appeal कैसे file होते हैं. Many a times I ask my counterparts कि वहाँ पे appeal कैसे file करते हैं. West Bengal state tax है तो we file, shorter grounds of appeal. आपके वहाँ पे कैसे होता है. So I feel personally, it's not because I'm a member of CGPI, but personally also on a larger level, I feel the kind of discussions that we have, not only in our group, but also in our RRCs, they are phenomenal. Not only because of the speakers, but because of the kind that Nitin Bhutta sir, along with the RRC teams, this year Prashant ji, they put in the efforts into the academic part. We really have a treasure house of discussion. So thank you very much, and over to Rinav ji.
And with this note, I once again urge everyone to please join in for our RRC and experience by yourself the kind of knowledge that which we share with our members participating at the RRC. The third RRC is at Indore from 7th to 9th March 2025, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And please come to the RRC, meet the members personally. If you have enjoyed this webinar thoroughly, I'm sure you would have a even better experience at the RRC when you meet these experts one-on-one. And with this, the session as fabulous as it was, I would also say that this was a tabulous session, considering the tables, table 4, 5, 6, 7, all the tables. But however, I request Utkarsh sir to please propose a very well-deserved vote of thanks for both of our speakers today.
Good evening, everyone. So, as we close our insightful session, it is my privilege to extend a very heartfelt gratitude on behalf of the CGPI community. First and foremost, I would like to extend my deepest thanks to our esteemed speakers, Advocate CA Arup Das Gupta ji and CA Chaitanya Bakharia sir, for their valuable insights, practical guidance, and the expert strategies on how to handle it both from the compliance perspective as well as from the litigation perspective. One point I would like to specifically mention is that the ease with which the case studies and the queries were dealt shows the quantum, shows the background preparation that they both have done for this particular session. And then again, thank you to all the participants who have joined us today and for the active engagement, for the active queries and the interactive session that made this session a very well-resounding success. I also would like to extend my thanks to the organizing team of CGPI for their dedication and the seamless coordination and ensuring that this was a very smooth and an impactful event. Not to mention again that this particular session is also available on YouTube. So any of us would like to revisit any of the discussions or if you would have missed anything, you could always go onto YouTube and get a detailed insight on this session. Thank you once again for the support and participation. Let us continue to learn, prosper, and grow with each other. Thank you so much. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Utkarshji. And as Utkarshji rightly mentioned, the same video would be available on our CGPI YouTube channel as well. So I would urge everyone in the last 15 days, if you have any query regarding the filing of annual returns, please visit our YouTube channel. Just view this video once, this 2 hours video, and I think most of your queries would be resolved before filing the 9 and 9C. So thank you everyone for the wonderful participation. And thanks to the speakers again. And I would like to formally end this meeting now.
Thank you.
Thank you.
everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you.
everyone.
Thank you.